And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another broadcast, our third broadcast of the night. We will be remaking the lobby, don't you worry. Lobby's gonna be remade. But welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to JEC Open. Oh my, the first JEC in a very, very long time. Of course, Showside VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Big shout out to Kuro, of course, as Kuro did, of course, just finish up Master Swan Open, MSO. Did just wrap up. We crowned our latest Master Swan Open champion, and now we are here with the JEC Open. Earlier today, of course, we were live with the KSL, with the Korean StarCraft League, and now we're here with some more Open StarCraft. Let me just quickly set things up. Un momento, as we are getting into game number one, we're going to be getting ready for Jumi versus Moja. Let's go. We have a PVT to kick things off. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. For those that are curious, what even is the JEC Open? Well, this is an open tournament. It's a bit of a one-off. The JEC Cup used to be a more frequent weekly tournament, but nowadays we brought it back as more of an annual thing. I say we brought it back. OSC Esports have brought it back, so big shout out to OSC for making this event a reality once again. For those that are curious as to what it stands for, JEC is Justin Elusori Chua, and if you recognize the name Elusori, then you're an old school viewer of StarCraft. Elusori was a big, I should say, competitor, participant in online events back in the day. Likewise, was also a big part of OSC Esports many years ago as well. So this is kind of in commemoration of Elusori and all the work he has done over the years for StarCraft, for OSC. And here we go, sporting in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is for Jumi. I'll fix up the name, don't worry. Or Talahon. And sporting in the top left hand corner, we have the German Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing, I believe himself, currently teamless. It is Moja. Bam. There we go. Hold on, just setting up the overlay, the UI. That's good enough. There we go. We have our initial PVT. Again, we're here in the early rounds of the event. We'll go over the bracket once we do wrap up our initial series. Then we can jump into the bracket itself and go over all the players, all the matches, and all the would-be series lying ahead of us as well. But it's been a long day. It's been a long day, Papi, going over MSO, going over KSL, and now with JEC. 3 events back to back to back. We keep going, Papi. We keep going. Never stopping. Not here. Not on the CranKy Ducklings. Ay, ay, ay. Good start. Yeah, exactly. So just setting things up. Adjusting everything from the previous broadcast. Meanwhile, we do see Moja opening up with a standard economic opener. Going to be a ranked expand into a factory on the high ground. So we have a standard economic opener out of Moja. Meanwhile, for Jimmy, back across the map, is going for a gate expand himself. Gate Cyber into Nexus. And we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener from For Jimmy. Meanwhile, Moja across the map has avoided any kind of SCV scouts and likewise has gone Marine first. So very greedy play here out of Moja. Not just an economic opener, but Moja has no idea what he's up against, and he won't for quite some time. So Moja is in the dark. He's in the dark as to the build of choice, the tech of choice as well, and is opening up defensive, or I should say a little bit in a more safer manner as he has to with that bunker. Bunker is done just in time. Adept threatens a shade, but we are in position and we will be able to hold on to at least our natural for the time being. Maybe to deny that Adept scout. We're able to wall off. Likewise, across the map, we have our initial Phoenix. Okay, it's going to be a Phoenix-based opener here from Fort Jimmy. And this could be the beginning of Phoenix Colossus. We could enter Phoenix Charge. We have a couple of options with how we want to compose the army itself. But for now, Phoenixes are a good way to get map control. They shut down drop play. They allow us to scout across the map and check the main base to make sure there's no crazy fast third TC. There's no 3-ax, for example. As we can see, it's going to be a 1-1-1 into Banshee. Okay. Bold move here by Moja. Banshees have been quite popular as of late in the TVP matchup. They've been very trendy. They have a lot of potential to do a lot of damage, to wreak havoc, but that's why it's how much more important for Jimmy to scout and recognize what's going on, to get detection and get in position for the Banshees. If there's no detection, this can just get out of hand, it can get out of control, and damage can be done. Oh boy. Speaking of Phoenixes, they dip in and they scout everything. They scout, they confirm, they get eyes on the tech lab on the starport, they see it researching, it could be one thing and one thing only. Cloak. Cloak is what's on the way here. Likewise, oh my god, we shot down the first Banshee. Jesus, I was like, what, 3-4 volleys and the Banshee does go down, and just like that, Moja, it's a rough start. It's a very rough start. He's gotten scattered, he's gotten shut down. Thankfully, Moja does cancel Cloak, as we're not gonna need it, not anymore. And oof, we are rushing into a fast third TC. I mean, I say fast third TC, we're rushing into the third base once we've been shut down, and that tells us that Moja plans on defending. Moja plans on pulling back and staying back home and just turtling up here, trying to establish a third base, taking a more defensive stance, and this means that For Jimmy can cut corners. It means that the Protoss player can be quite greedy back at home and tech up, get a third base, get saturated. Once For Jimmy does scout the third, which, he will! A big scout, we pick up Marine, we don't quite get the Cyclone, but we get eyes on the CC. So now For Jimmy knows he can be greedy. He knows what he can get away with. As he confirms there's no 2-base all in. Meanwhile, we do pick up a handful of SCVs. 2 SCVs going down. We get 2 SCV kills, we're just containing the opponents, we're keeping Moja pinned back at home. And across the map, what are we taking into? We spoke earlier, we had some options when it came to compositions, but it's going to be Phoenix Colossus, except the last on the way. Colossus production has begun, the first Colossus is about to pop out. And by the time Moja does move out across the map, we should be safe and sound. We should have a secure army here with Colossus production. Likewise, Twilight Council working towards charge. For Jimmy is looking quite comfortable. Like, this is a really solid start here for Jimmy. There's not really much else we could say that could otherwise go his way. And it's going to be on Moja here to try to bounce back. I mean, on the one hand, we're working towards the third base. Once we get it up and running, then we can start being active on the map. We can move out. We can go for... I was going to say drop play. With this many Phoenixes, we really can't. I mean, it's just risky. Very risky to move out with these medevacs and move out with these drops. Still going to be stuck at home. Oh! As we do pick off one of the Phoenixes. Not bad. But alas, we get even more SCVs. The Ghost Academy has been spotted, is delayed. But finally, the third base is getting up and running. Moja is building back up. We're getting there. Meanwhile, as for Jumi scouts the third, we're getting a fourth. Jumi is getting a fourth base, setting up a proxy to reinforce across the map to harass, to go for these run-bys. Run-bys with those charge lots as charges on the way. Double upgrades, double forge here from Jumi. And again, it makes sense just because we know that the Terran player is going to be stuck at home. We can afford to take up in such a way and go for double upgrades at a time. We can be greedy, Pat. Sorry, just sneezing. We can be greedy. Phoenixes, again, still just keeping Moja busy. And soon the question becomes, who moves out? Who does move out first? Do we have for Jumi trying to lay siege upon the third base? Or does he strike when Moja attempts to take a fourth? That's the question. We already have 3 Colossus. At this point, we can begin Disruptor production. Disruptors can be on the way. Speaking of, yep, second Robo. That is going to be for double Disruptor. We can then take our gases at the fourth base. But finally, Moja is moving out, and that's quite an army. We have EMPs. Good EMPs on the Colossus. We don't have much of a buffer. The Colossus looking a little bit exposed. And can we get on top of them? Zelta coming to reinforce, and it looks like for Jumi, he does cut back in time. A little bit of miscontrol there, targeting the rocks for a moment, but despite that, we're still breaking through. Again, a very close fight. You can see that for Jumi barely had enough to keep on pushing, and now here come the reinforcements. And for Jumi is looking to break through and get on top of that third base. Behind this, for Jumi taking a 5th expansion. 5th base on the way. Disruptor production as well. Oh, the Colossus! The juggling! Oh my god! For Jumi! The juggling is on point. We save the Colossus, solid EMP, but GG gets called, and for Jumi snowballs out of control and takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Solid game 1 here from Jumi. Very impressive. Like, honestly, was pretty in control for the entirety of game number 1. 1 moment. There we go. Got you covered. But was pretty in control for the majority of game number 1 there, and yeah, that was a pretty solid performance. But it was just a really rough start from our Terran player, again, to open up in such a way, to open up Cloak Banshees, I almost said Glaive Adepts, to open up Cloak Banshees and to be shut down and to be forced to transition and get into a third base. Moja was in a rough position and was forced to relinquish all map control, and we saw how much freedom for Jumi had as a result. Also, I don't really know what Talahon means. I'm very confused. Apparently it's a new meme, relatively new. God, these Zoomers and their lingo. God damn it. I'm shaking my head. But big shout out to Jade of God, Bappy God. Thank you so much for resubscribing to me, my goat. Thank you so much for resubbing. We do appreciate the support. Big shout out to Jade, of course, big part of the community alongside without Jadolf, we wouldn't have so many of these little features that we have that we do use for the channel. Things like the predictions, which I have not used yet. Hold on. Speaking of, I got you covered. Predictions are now open for the series, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta, we have our German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is for Jumi. And And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the German Terran player, the red Terran, representing himself, currently teamless, down in the series, looking to bounce back. It is Moja. Let us go. Ooh, some German on German action here, and the first game was looking quite dominant for Jumi, but again, a lot of that did come down to the builds of choice, and it was just a really rough game there from Moja. We have seen far better from him at Home Story Cup and in other events as well, and I want to believe that Moja can bounce back here and can threaten for Jumi. But now though, we're going to be settling in. Once again, economic opener by our Terran player. It's going to be a Rax into CC, into Expand. Is going to be the plan here. Yeah, there's the command in the chat. There you go. As back at home for Jumi, just going for the Gate Cyber Expand, setting up his own Nexus. And so far, it looks like the same build 2 games in a row. Interesting. Very interesting here from Moja. What I'm referring to, as we do get a kill on the probe, is we're going for a Rax Expand into Marine, no SCV Scout. So once again, 2 games in a row, no SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout either. Moja is going to be in the dark, and for Jumi, he's going to have a little bit more freedom early on. Now, this is not a bad map for something like a Stargate opener, which is why Moja is mixing it up. That is a second and a third Rax. Okay, 3 Rax, Mass Marine. It's going to be a stim timing here from Moja, and this can hit like a truck, and this can punish a Stargate opener. We've yet to determine the tech of choice, but as I mentioned before, Side Delta, not a bad map for something like a Stargate, just because of how wide open it is. Oh, we're going for, oh my god! The hard counter! It's gonna be a robot opener instead. Jimmy, calm down. Okay, we have a robo thrown down for Jumi. It's a very safe opener here from the Protoss player. Now, what a robo opener leads to is fast Colossus. Leads into a fast Bay, into a fast Colossus production, and if we get a fast Colossus, or I mean, I should say this build specifically is designed to have a Colossus out in time for the sim timing and to shut down a Bio push. And that's exactly what Moja's up to. So, yeah, for Jumi, reading this very nicely, very well. Hallucination moving out across the map to get a read on what's going on. Once we confirm the mass Raxes, then the Protoss player can respond with a fast Bay. Oh boy. And here comes that Hallucination. The inevitable shutdown was forced back earlier. And we got a full scout. We see everything in the main base. We confirm every single Rax. The stim being upgraded, the combat shields as well. For Jumi is fully aware of the stim timing. And back at home, we should be responding with a Bay. For now, though, we're getting into extra gateways. Immortal production has begun, just to be safe and sound. Oh, had begun for a moment there. For Jumi, is going to be getting into his third Nexus, and there we go, Immortals on the way. No Bay yet, which is interesting from our Protoss player, as we are getting ready for that move out. Again, this is still a very defensive opener here from Jumi, and we will at least have some Immortals. But yeah, ideally we would be working towards Colossus as well. Until then, here comes that move out. Stim is going to finish up in a couple of seconds. And we'll see if Jumi can defend against it. I mean, the Immortal will help against some Marauders, that is true. Force Field is going to be nice as well. Jumi is getting ready for the push that he's aware is on the way. Shield batteries are finishing up. And we'll see if he can shut this down. We shall see. Again, it's going to come down to the Force Fields. And can we slice up the army? We can. Yeah, just like that, a good chunk of Marines do go down. That's going to be 4 Marines falling. A very strong start here from Jumi. Shield batteries done as well. We do see Moja rotating, and Jumi keeps up with the rotation. Second Immortal's on the way. Jumi doesn't chase, and he's fine. Jumi is now getting his third base saturated. Moja back at home, third TC's on the way. Moja's trying to build up and get into his own third. regardless, this initial build from Moja didn't really come to pass. Again, ideally he was hoping for a Stargate. He was hoping that it was going to be a Stargate opener into Phoenixes. That was not the case. As a result, Forjumi was so well prepared for this. I had assumed that it was going to be for Fast Colossus, but instead Forjumi took a different approach. Instead went for Immortal production with some force fields, with some sentries. Still dealt with the main army. Didn't shut it down as hard, but did force it back, and we'll see if Moja can try to work with a secondary timing here. The Observer has arrived. We'll get an eye on any kind of move out. And what's interesting to me is that Forjumi is still not going for the Bay. Despite the opener, despite the Robo start, with rushing into charge ults into +1 armor as well, which of course will help out those charge ults against the Bio army. But yeah, we are delaying splash damage by quite a bit. Oh, and even when it comes to the splash damage of choice, Storm. Okay. Forjumi taking a very different approach here, which I appreciate. I appreciate that Forjumi, you know, he's spreading his wings, he's diversifying, he's trying out other things, and yeah, this time as opposed to game 1, no Colossus, Storm. Now, the worrisome thing is, we already have a Ghost Academy on the way. Moja's working towards EMPs and Ghost production, and EMPs are going to be even more impactful here in this game. EMPs are ideal against Chargelot, Archon, Storm, most things Protoss. Speaking of, there's that Storm on the way. So we'll see how we do engage, as both players are getting their economies up and running. No 4th Nexus yet here from Jumi. The Observer did get eyes, or does get eyes on the saturation, on the transferring workers. And the lack of 4th base is interesting. The Observer is sniped. Nice scan there from Moja. Snipe does shut it down. And it looks like Forjumi is going to be pushing with Storm. Storm is going to finish up just in time here with, I believe, the move out. Going for Hallucination Prism. You love to see it. And yeah, we have 4 High Templar. 4 High Templar. They're already morphed in. They're in the Prism. And we're soon going to be pushing. And we'll see how good the Storms are going to be. Let's go. Let us go. The army is split up. So we're already pre-split. The Storm's going to be a little bit less impactful because of that. But here come the Storms. Up. Up. We get the first one. Oh my god. Yeah, massive Storm initially. We have 3 more High Templar. The Prism is getting low. And Moja can come in from behind. We have a flank set up. Yeah, we're coming in for the surround. The Prism is exposed. High Templar, no! High Templar, they go down. Massive pickoff. And we come in for the full surround. And Forjumi has almost nothing left. Has to recall back home. No more Storms. No more splash damage. Yeah, massive engage from Moja. And Forjumi, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. He lost every single High Templar. And without Storms, how do we stop the army? We do have 2 more High Templar morphing in. They need more time, though. They need a little bit more time for Storms. And Moja's not giving it to him. Scans ahead of time, headed for the 4th base. Takes down the Archon. Yeah, takes down 2 more High Templar, and it looks like we have to give up on the 4th base. The Nexus is going to go down. And we can keep going. We can't keep pushing at the same time, though. Ooh, Zealot Run by hits the 3rd base. Does distract the Terran. It's going to be cleaned up. We can see Moja rotating over towards the 3rd. Doesn't go for the natural. You know what this means? This means that Forjumi has enough time to get Storm. We have 2 Storms. 2 Storms are available. We need to make them count. And even with 2 Storms, it's still an uphill battle. Overcharge is popped. The pre-split! Let's go! The pre-spread there from Moja. The Storms, they tickle the army. They don't do much. And here come the reinforcements. We get 8 probe kills. We can rotate once again. And we have no Storms remaining. We need more time. We do need more time here. As Moja ignores the 3rd base, threatens the natural. Forjumi trying to buy time. Preserving this High Templar. We just stim one forward anyway. Okay, we stim one in. We go for the Immortals, and there's just almost nothing left. There's no buffer. There's no support. GG, and Moja ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. Let's go. Whew. GG. We are headed all the way to game number 3. Again, that was an insane surround from Moja to have a pre-split army. He was already set up for, I mean, it looked like he was set up, not quite for a surround, but for a split push, maybe going towards the 3rd base and the 4th at the same time. And for Jimmy happened to walk into him, happened to push in at that moment. And with that surround, we completely shut for Jimmy down. Now we're going all the way to game 3. It all ends here, and this could go either way. Oh boy. Could go either way here. Meanwhile, the rest of the bracket is likewise currently underway. We have some updates coming in. We'll go over the updates once we wrap up the series. Looks like we have our final map. It's going to be on Post Youth. I was not expecting that. Okay. We go. You can hear the beeps. We have our lobby. Post Youth going to be coming up next, and I'm curious how Moja will adapt here. We have seen the same opener time and time again, but some different follow-ups here from Moja. We'll see how greedy he wants to be on Post Youth. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Post Youth, we have the German Protoss player. German and Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? Can he bounce back? It is for Jimmy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Terran player, the Red Terran. Bringing it back, forcing the ace match. Can he keep up the momentum? Can he keep going? It is Moja. Let's go. Let us go. So we are going to be settling into the ace match here. Now, as a reminder, every game so far, we have seen that Moja has been skipping SCV scouts. No SCV scouts, no Reaper scouts either. What I was about to say, if we wanted to be a little bit greedier here, we have seen plenty of Terran players go for CC first. CC first on Post Youth, but we can see that Moja, he's not taking that risk. Still just going for a Rax expand. Still an economic opener, but not as greedy as other players might attempt to go for. Regardless, economic here from Moja. We'll see if he skips the Reaper once again as well. Meanwhile, speaking of greed, it's just going to be a gate expand from Jumi. I mean, technically it is a little bit greedy. Typically, the standard opener in this matchup is a gate cyber expand, just to go for a faster adept. This time, we're going to be delaying the adept and delaying the cyber core in favor of the faster nexus. Which makes sense, just because Post Youth, you are very safe and secure on 2 bases. There's a single ramp leading into both your natural and your main, and you also have those gold minerals as well, so it's very tempting to be as greedy as possible at the start of Post Youth. Likewise, there's also a gold base that could come into play. True, we'll keep an eye on that, but it's going to be quite difficult to claim a gold as at least a 3rd in this matchup. We'll see if either one does try to go for that. Meanwhile, Moja, for the first time this series, goes for the Reaper. Okay. Here we go. We are going for that Reaper Scouts. And we have confirmation. It is going to be a Stargate opener from Jumi, and Moja will confirm. We'll confirm what's going on, gets eyes on the Stargate. Dipping into the mineral line, and can also pick up a probe. Not too bad. 1 probe goes down. Again, the adept was not quite ready. As you recall, the cyber core was delayed. We do delay mining time at the natural as well. Not bad here from Moja. Not bad at all. He's going to be rotating around behind this, getting into his own factory, into a starport, 111. Do appreciate it. Again, Moja did confirm the Stargate is aware of the potential Phoenix opener. Technically could be an Oracle, but is going to be the Phoenix. A little bit more common. And bold move, we're actually opening up Widowmine. And potentially setting up for some drop play. Okay. It's not the easiest to get Widowmines past Phoenixes, but not impossible. Just a risky maneuver here from Moja. We do have the first Widowmine borrowed here in the natural base, in the mineral line. Likewise, second Widowmine's on the way alongside Viking, not Medevac. Okay. Okay, I see you. I assumed it was going to be a medevac for a drop, but no, it is going to be the Viking instead. So just very defensive play here from Moja. Doesn't really intend on moving out, is more concerned with catching the Phoenixes. Is more concerned with catching them. As second Widow Mine has burrowed as well in the mineral line itself. And for Jumi's gonna have to be very careful here when it comes to busting in. Does have to be careful. Phoenixes have arrived. They're met by the Viking at least. Gonna be zoned away. Fast third CC here from Moja. So 1-1-1 into a third CC. This is the fastest third CC we've seen so far this series. So very greedy here from Moja. Likewise, we do see for Jumi this time, no storm. I appreciate it. We're done with the storm. We're done with the High Templar. Roman. We're going into the Bay. We're going into Colossus. Third base being taken as well. So this is going to be Feast Colossus once again from Jumi. The Maestro! Ooh, big connection. Not bad. When the shot goes off, I love the rotation as well. So Widow Mine does re-borrow on the right-hand side. Again, so it's a nice little detail here, but again, now for Jumi, he's a little bit more wary of going into the main base mineral line because of the Widow Mine shots, and instead he rotates over towards the right-hand side. Another Widow Mine. Almost ready! Up! It's gonna go up! Oh my god, 2 Phoenixes! 2 Phoenixes go down, and just like that, Mojai shuts down the aggression of Forjumi. Ay, ay, ay. 2 Phoenixes for 1 SCV. And again, we rotate. Like, it's so important to keep your Widow Mines moving and to keep them, kind of rotating over to make sure the Protoss does not know where they are. So very nice movement here from Moja. And Forjumi has had a rough start. It's been a very rough start. I mean, at least is getting his third base up and running and working towards Colossus, but the map control that Forjumi should have with these Phoenixes isn't really there anymore. We're down to 2, soon to be 3 Phoenixes, and because of that, drop play is soon going to be available for Moja. Usually he'd be contained, but with so few Phoenixes, we can soon move out. There's not that much here to really punish Moja, that's what I'm saying. Proxy gateways being set up for run-bys. Bases, once again, they threaten the bases. We have to be careful. There are Widow Mines set up at the natural. Phoenix is once again deterred. Gonna be zoning them away. More gateways in production. We can see that this time, Forjumi isn't as greedy as he was in game number 1, if you recall. It's only 1 forge. Only 1 forge, only 1 upgrade at a time. We're getting into charge lots, Phoenixes, Colossus production, building up a death ball of an army, but it's not going to be as robust as it was in game 1, just because the early game hasn't been as secure here for Jumi. And this eventual move out is going to hit like a truck. That's 5 tanks. That's 5 tanks. That's a lot of tanks. Oh my god. Ghost Academy is almost done. Getting into Ghost, and once we have EMPs, we can move out across the map. Did I say 5 tanks? 6. So 7. Oh my god. Usually that's a little bit of diminishing returns, and we stop at around 4 to 5 tanks, but no, we just keep going. Ay, ay, ay. Against a charge lot heavy composition, I am concerned, especially against charge lots. You would usually switch into Widow Mine production just because they can be a little bit more efficient against mass charge lot. So again, I'm a little bit concerned here with this army composition, but there's still a lot of firepower available. A lot of potential here with 7 tanks. 8 tanks. We just keep going. I'm really not used to it. Again, this tank heavy style feels really old school. Like this heavy like biotank style, we saw it's prevalent in the meta, especially in the Korean scene a couple of years ago. I'm referring to like 2020, 2021 era of StarCraft. It's something that you just don't really see in modern StarCraft anymore. But okay, Moja, he's cooking. Meanwhile, Zelsay down on top of the army. The tanks are on siege. The tanks are on siege. One tank already going down, and we catch out the Bio army. The Colossus going ham. And the Terran army. This is just not the ideal fight. So that's 3 tanks behind this, and we're getting some of the Colossus. Oh my god! It's one of those things where even if you get caught on siege, mate, he had 8 tanks. It's fine. Like, some of them will survive anyway. Nova's going off. Oh! Massive. The pickups! Oh my god! Despite that, tanks are going down. It looks like we will clean this up. And the Chargers, they put in a lot of work. Moja barely has an army standing, still wants to keep going, and is so close to breaking for Jumi. So close to breaking him. The Colossus looking very low. Novas go up. They don't connect. For Jumi, a little bit trigger happy there. Did waste his Novas. And the tanks are coming. Tanks are getting within range of the 4th base. Probes are going down. Disruptors are about to reset. We have 3 disruptors, 3 Novas. Can we engage those tanks? Can we connect with the tanks themselves? Oh, barely not. Nova goes off, cells from behind. But the Colossus are going down, and without the Colossus, do we really have anything left over? Not really. There's 2 Stalkers. And we can stim one forward, we can land the Vikings. And we can try to get on top of those disruptors. Not quite. Moja waiting for the opportune moment, does get 1, gets 2, gets 3. Gets all 3 disruptors. He's still making tanks. Oh my god. Just doesn't stop. Just non-stop tank production. Liberators as well behind this, and Moja, he's breaking through. Yeah, the freedom is here. The freedom has arrived. And it looks like Moja is going to be able to break the 4th base, and more than just that, break for Jumi. There's just not much left over. We have 1 disruptor coming in, and we need a miracle Nova to hold on. And even then it might not be enough. Disruptor comes in, Nova goes up. Up! Does not get the connection. Moja able to stim away in time. And that was all we had left. And 4Jimmy knows that he's going for a base trade. He cannot fight the main army, sending everything across the map. And the base trade has begun. Now, on the one hand, there's a hidden base. There is a base on the right-hand side which has not been scattered. Oh my god, massive connection! Nova goes off. Not bad. At the same time, 4Jimmy trying to bust up the ramp into the main base where we have Liberators in position. We can at least lay siege upon the 3rd. And the 3rd base is going to go down. At the same time, the main base under fire. The main base has been broken. And we're going to depower everything in the main. And can 4Jimmy break the main base of Moja? He's going to try. Blinks in. But he gets punished. Yeah, breaking this position, it's not going to be possible. Not with these 2 Liberators. Moja is secure. And I can't say the same for 4Jimmy. Going for DTs? I mean, in a base trade makes sense. Going for the Dark Templar. I like the idea behind it, but alas, wasn't able to quite make it work. The Dark Shrine went down. We had a scan available. There is another scan. And we do shut down both DTs. And there it is. GG gets called. There's just no way up the ramp. And Moja with the comeback. With the reverse sweep, we'll take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Moja will take the series. Very impressive play here, especially in game number 3. That felt like Moja was really getting into his own. Game 1 and game 2 were a little bit more back and forth, and there was definitely potential, especially on side Delta for Jumi to make that storm build work, but the surround was brutal. Likewise, in this game, the Phoenix opener did fall in its face, and Moja, it just snowballed out of control. I wasn't fully sold on the mass tank composition with 8 tanks, as we saw, like, I think 5 tanks died immediately. Like, a lot of tanks went down before the fight really started, but it was one of those moments where even though we lost 5 tanks, we still had 3 tanks because the tank count was so high. We still had a handful of tanks behind it, and that was just so much damage in the back line. And GG, Moja does advance on. And we have some catching up to do. Meanwhile, a big shout to Kashim in the chat. Shema, papi, Shema. GG. Hello, Kashim. Hello. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Over in the land of Bologna. As we are switching our scenes over and having a look at the bracket. Let's go. Let us go. As we have some catching up to do. We have our next series. We have our next matchup. And let's slip into some DMs and make sure we don't get left behind. As it looks like the entirety of the first round has concluded. Now, unfortunately, there were some walkovers. In the first round, which is a bit of a shame. Strongman, UAD Soldier, alongside Iba, did not show up at the start of the tournament. I was actually going to be starting with Fianta versus Iba, but Iba was not available. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to really embrace that series. Weren't able to embrace that matchup. Oh, but we do have some other updates. Just one moment. Making sure we do get everything going. There we go. We're setting up for our next series. Meanwhile, from the top, we do have Geralt. Geralt up against Hydra in the second round in the quarterfinals. They're in a PvP. They're locked in a best of 3. Just underneath them, we have our series. We're following Moja into the next round up against Honmono in the quarterfinals in a Terran versus Terran. Scrolling down, we have Cristiano. Cristiano is up against Fiant in the quarterfinals in a ZVP. And we have Nickrak versus Rostock already over. Nickrak takes Rostock down 2-0. Oh my god. In a very fast series. Very well played. GG. Nickrak does already race his way to the semifinals. He's waiting for his next opponent. As you can see here, both semifinals will be casted. Both semis will be covered. So we'll be catching up with Nickrak after this series, as we have game 1 getting ready. Honmono versus Moja. Let's go. Let us go. The vetoes are done and we're jumping into game number 1. Catching up in the chat. Is it a tactic to drag Widowmine shots into Terran units? It is. It is. Brood War bombing zealots into shuttles, into tanks, just we think. Yeah. So when it comes to that, that's usually done. It's done via 2 ways typically. Usually with charge lots. You know, you can drag Widowmine shots into a Terran army with charge lots. Especially there is a unique trick that does occur from time to time. It's a little bit more of a rarity where with a charge lot you can actually manually target a unit behind or furthest back, and it will just rush on past. And kind of drag the Widowmine shot with it. It can be quite impressive to see the charge lot just run across the map. It's crazy. Run across the screen. Likewise with Lingbane as well. Not uncommon to drag mine shots with Lingbane. We have seen it with Phoenixes in the past. Even most recently in EWC, Hero did it. Hero did drag mine shots with his Phoenixes. Again, intentionally doing some friendly fire. It does happen from time to time, is the thing. Is a thing. I'm a little bit under the weather. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, man. But we are getting our next series ready. Getting into our TVT. And hopefully we can avoid, I mean, we should be able to avoid mirror matchups in the semifinals at least, for the most part. Should be able to avoid them. Plenty of variety available here tonight. We got our Terrans, our Zergs, our Protoss. And here we go, our players are finally ready. We're jumping into game number 1. Hello, that's it. Yeah, I got you covered. I got you covered. Just some examples of it happening in pro play. Here we go. We are getting into our next game, into game number 1 of a fresh best of 3. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Terran player, the red Terran, representing himself, just hooked down for Jimmy. It is Moja. And if you're in the chats, you know what time it is. Oh, hold on. I should fix up the title. There we go. You know what time it is. It's time for your Gamba Papi. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this TVT. Will it be our German Terran or our Korean Terran player? Best of luck. I think it's a little bit hard to call. I will say that Hon Mono is typically a very aggressive and very animalistic player. He's an animal, Bob. He's an animal. Very cheesy, very aggressive, very in your face against Protoss players, but against Terran, he's something a little bit different. Hon Mono does play a lot more standard, a lot more macro against Terran players. From the side of Moja, personally, I'm a little bit unfamiliar. I'm more unfamiliar with Moja's play. I've only casted him a couple of times, so I don't really know what he has to offer and how he does look like in the TVT matchup. So I'm ready to be introduced. I am ready. Meanwhile, double gas. Double gas opener out of Moja, going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, Hon Mono going for a single gas opener. That means we're going for a faster CC. So economic opener out of Hon Mono as the CC is on the way. Moja going for a delayed economy for a faster factory. So a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive here from Moja. We'll see how he does approach this. This could be for Reactor Reaper Hellion. This could be for initial Cyclone production early on, working towards fast tank into drop play. We have options available for Moja. We'll see what direction he does take us in. Our eyes mostly are going to be on Moja early on. We shall see. And Hon Mono is going to be our initial defender. So we have our roles being taken, our aggressor and our defender. Moja now taking a bit of a later expansion on the low ground. And we'll see where this takes us. We shall see. Yeah, for the time being, a little bit of a lull period here. Most likely, the lower semifinals will be ready for us once we wrap up. We'll pick and choose, I suppose, whichever is ready first, and we'll be jumping into the semifinals. To ease our way into this. Meanwhile, we can see that we did not rush into initial Reaper Hellion. We had some Reapers early on, but that was just for defense, just for safety. We're not going into any additional Reaper Hellion production, at least not from the side of Moja. Instead, faster Cyclones. We have our first, soon to be second Cyclone on the way. From here, we can go into a medevac and go for a Cyclone drop. Speaking of, ooh, no medevac, going for a Viking instead. Interesting. Okay, very defensive play here, which in a way makes sense. I just realized that we have not scouted at all. Zero scouting here from Moja. Likewise, zero scouting from Hon Mono. So Moja is just securing himself and being ready for anything coming his way with Cyclone Viking. Meanwhile, Hon Mono back at home, likewise going into his own Cyclone production into a faster Raven. Ravens are on the way. Again, Ravens they provide a lot of utility in TVT. A lot of utility, as they do provide a way to kind of break these siege lines and break these tank positions, especially with that interference matrix with the disables. So Ravens are going to be on the way already here for Hon Mono. Moja getting into some delayed Raven production, so is going to be behind a Raven, at least initially. And yeah, Moja just playing very defensively. Okay. I assumed he was going to be a little bit more assertive with the initial faster factory, but the answer is no. We're chilling back at home, getting into Cyclones, into Vikings, setting up our tank, and yeah, being more safe. Now, what I find interesting here is that Hon Mono has not begun tank production. This is a bit of an older school build. I say old school, I don't know if that's the right word. At the start of the year. This is a build that we saw quite often, like 8 months ago. And if you remember what was happening 8 months ago, or even 7 months ago, that was the Cyclone patch. That was the patch where Cyclones were being amassed like this very frequently by everyone. Bjorn was doing it, Maru, Clem, all the top tier Terran players were massing Cyclones early on in TVT, and Cyclone Wars were a part of the meta for a couple of months. It was a dark time. it was a dark time in SE2 history that we try to forget, and we try to kind of bury in that history as well. But this is not something you see too often anymore. We're still making more Cyclones, by the way. More Cyclones coming out from Honmono, and I mean, with these Ravens, the goal should be to disable the tanks of Moja and then try to overwhelm. I'm not convinced, but we'll see if this works. Oh boy. Here we go. As we do see Moja moving out with those tanks, we catch out the main army. Decent catch here from Honmono. Trading out 1 for 1. Cyclone for a Marine. Not the best trade here from Honmono. He does rotate over the tanks to do siege. And as a reminder, Honmono can disable those tanks. Every single one. But he doesn't go for it. Does pull away. Behind this, getting into bio production, getting into his initial tanks. Bearing in mind that Honmono is behind in tank production because of all these Cyclones. And so far, it hasn't been worth it. Not yet. Does scan, does get eyes on all the tanks. Oh, that's 4 tanks sieged up. Behind this, Moja also playing bio tank. Getting into stim, not mech. But it does feel like there's a lot of pressure on Honmono to have this army pay for itself. Going for auto turret harass, getting some SCVs. Honmono is also the first to take a third base, saturate as well. Honmono does have and maintain that economic lead. Getting 4 SCV kills, denying mining time. And Moja does not move out. He's just maintaining his position, getting his own third. And Honmono can't really do much about it. Not yet. Yes, we're embracing more Viking production, more tanks as well. As auto turret harass does continue, getting another 4 SCVs. Comparing the tank counts, we have 6 tanks to 3, so Moja has double the tank count of Honmono. And on the one hand, I want to say that does give Moja a big army advantage, and that is true on the one hand. On the flip side, of course, we do have the Master Raven available for Honmono. And with those disables, we can kind of make up for our lack of tanks. Moja does have Ravens of his own, that is true, but only 2. So he's down a Raven. Oh! Honmono does catch both Cyclones. Going for more harass. Not bad. At the same time, we're going for a jump here on the right hand side, and we are pulling Moja apart. Oh my god! Yeah, 10 SCVs going down. Likewise, you jump into the main base as well, and Moja is slow to react. Does get here, but not in time, and we get 19 SCVs. Oh my god, we're not done! We're gonna get 1 extra SCV, 26 SCVs go down in total. We clean up the Marines, we clean up the drop play, but that is so much damage. We cripple the economy, and Honmono has a massive worker lead. And does that trigger a move out? Remember, Honmono, he does have the higher worker count, but the higher tank count is still in favor of Moja. Never mind. 4th CC. Okay. Okay, we're not moving out. Moja, we're turtling up. We're turtling up. We're going to be taking a more defensive stance. Honmono's going to be moving out instead. And can Honmono break this position? With all those Ravens, he could. There's potential, but I mean, that's why we have the Vikings from Moja for air control to zone the Ravens away. We'll see if he can. There's 9 of Vikings for Moja. Oh, we're going for a Doom Drop. Oh, but he's crazy! There are Vikings in position. There are Vikings ready for this. Oh, and we do send them away. 1 Viking goes down. If we were crazy enough, we could disable the Vikings and then boost in. Could try to do that. It would be crazy. But homeowner pulls away. Does pull away, rotating around, looking for another way in. Likewise, 3 Vikings also in position. Homeowner going for a split push. We'll see if Homeowner can pull Moja apart. His goal here should be to distract. While he gets ready for the drop of the Vikings are ready. Oh. The Vikings are in position. Oof. One Medrack almost goes down. Again, Moja more than prepared. Homeowner forced back. Double expanding, getting a triply expanding even. Getting a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th CC. All the bases. All on the way. Likewise, Homeowner going for the dive. He disables as many tanks as he can. That's 3 tanks disabled. And it looks like we will be able to break through. We're getting on top of the tanks, and Homeowner, he overwhelms. He overwhelms. GG gets called. And Homeowner will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Homeowner just pulling his opponent apart left and right. Moja could barely keep up, did take a massive economic deficit, and in the end, despite Moja having more tanks, he was down in Marines, he was unable to stop the disables even with the higher Viking count, and Homeowner did snowball out of control. And with that, Homeowner does take the first game, but now we're getting ready for game number 2. We're getting ready for that second game, and we'll see if Moja can bounce back. As a reminder, Moja also had a rough start in the first game against Fort Jumi. That also did happen. It just took a game to really get things going for Moja to bounce back. We'll see if he can do it again. We shall see. As we're making our way into game 2, going to be loading into Golden Aura. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our now purple Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Team Hyper 1, up 1-0. One more game to make it to the semifinals. It is Homeowner. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Terran player, the pink Terran, representing himself, currently teamless, down in the series, but looking to bounce back and force the ace match. It is Moja. Go. Go. As a reminder, we did have Homeowner going for more economic opener last time, but this time, double gas. Okay, double gas opener out of Homeowner, double gas out of Moja. This time we have mirrored builds between both players, but on a map like Golden Aura, we'll see if Homeowner is going to be the aggressor this time. We saw that Moja was playing very safe, last game, going Cyclone into Viking, into a 3rd CC, into a 4th CC, was for the most part staying at home on his side of the map, and Homeowner, I'm sure, is aware of that, and we'll see if he can try to break that kind of shell early on, or earlier on. Here we go. Go. As for now, just kind of waiting for our initial units of choice. Going to be racks into factory. And do we continue Reaper production? That is the question. That is the question. Moja going for his first Reaper, this time moving out across the map. If you recall, last time we did avoid that, and the Reapers, they do clash. Oh! Who shoots first? Homono! Homono does. He shoots first, and oh, just barely does win out in that fight. Massive win here for Homono. Does take a Reaper lead. And back at home, we do have a backup Reaper on the way for Moja. Is in production. CC is under fire. And we will not get the SCV, as Homeowner is going to be forced back. And behind this, do you see what I see? Reacted Reaper. Reacted Reaper Hellion. Very aggressive follow-up out of Homeowner, which also makes sense. Does have that Reaper lead. So he's massing up Hellions, massing up Reapers, and his goal is to break the natural. Is to bust into a mineral line and wreak havoc on those SCVs. And we'll see if he can. Likewise, Moja getting into his own Cyclone production. Ooh, reactors on the way. That will delay any additional Reapers or Marines. That means this is all we have. Moja looking vulnerable. And Homeowner, can we break him? We can. The goal here, get on top of the Cyclone. Can we get on top of the Cyclone? Can we snowball from there? Homeowner is coming in. Spreads out his units, goes for the Cyclone. No repair! No repair. One Hellion goes down. We do get the... Oh, we don't get the Cyclone. Never mind. We hold. Whew. Moja does hold. Shuts down the army. Forces it back. The Cyclone barely standing strong. One more shot would have been it. But it does survive. We get the repair off. And Moja holds. Moja does hold. And now with these reinforcing Reaper Hellion, it's unlikely to really get much done. Cyclones will shut this down, especially with two of them at the same time. We're trying to go for another dive. We will get one of the Cyclones, but no much more than that. Moja should be okay. Reaper zipping in. And getting a Marine. Nice pickoffs here out of Homeowner. Going for another dive. Does not get the Cyclone, but does get a Marine. Not bad. And behind this, we're getting to Viking production to have tanks on the way. And we'll keep an eye on Homeowner to see if he does throw down a second starport. For now, just initial Vikings. Just doubling down on Viking production. Attempts to dive into the main is denied by Moja. Is going to be denied. And with that, we do see Homeowner moving out with quite an army here. There's not really much on the ground as we're trying to focus on that final Cyclone, and we don't mind. We get it. We get the Cyclone. Homeowner, calm down. Gets the Cyclone and has arrived with what kind of army? Tank Viking. It's only Tank Viking, really. 6 Vikings, 2 tanks. The boys are being pulled, and Moja, he does put the army. He wants to deny the Ravens. First Raven goes down. Massive pickle already here for Homeowner. Gets the first Raven. Tanks are sieging up ahead of time. Our boys are here to help support. Big tank volley goes off. Marines, oh, they're gonna be shut down. Oh my god! Yeah, the Marines are being cleaned up. The auto turret as well. We shut down the Raven. Insane trades here for Homeowner. He lands the Vikings. He wants the tanks. He's gonna be punished for it. Does get 1 tank. Oof. Yeah, no, that's not ideal. That was not the best move. Did get at least 1 tank, but lost a lot of Vikings in the process. Hi. Third CC's on location for both players. Homeowner making his way into the main, trying to camp the production. Will land the Vikings. Will go for the SCVs. Yeah, he gets 2 SCVs. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel on the racks. At the same time, we're diving on top of the tanks. We're at least attempting to. As we drag the army towards the north. Meanwhile, tank looking to siege on the high... No, never mind. I thought it was going to siege on the high ground, but yeah, gonna bypass the army instead. Vikings landing across the map, going for SCV kills. A lot of workers are going down. Oh my god. Yeah, we're getting very chaotic at this point. Meanwhile, Homeowner's chased all the way back home. Still getting more SCVs. Third base is going to be denied. Tank walking in. Oh, does get 2 more workers. Again, so I'm just stepping a tard out. Vikings in the third base. It's a very chaotic game state. Very chaotic. What's going on? We're essentially playing mech. I say mech. We have triple starport production. We're going mass Viking. Mass Viking. That. Oh my god. I mean, it is a form of mech. There is no bio. There's no second racks. There's no third racks. It is just tanks and Vikings. And we're not stopping. We keep moving out. Oh boy. Now, there is a lot of power in Tank Viking. Basically, the downside, the most vulnerable thing about this army composition is the lack of support. It does mean that if the tanks get caught on siege, they're going to die. There's going to be dive potential for Moja to get on top of these tanks to shut them down. There's no Hellions to support. There's no Marines to support. They are vulnerable on their own. So it is a really risky playstyle, but the Vikings, they land into the main. Getting an add-on, denying some of the production, forcing a cancel. And these Marines, they do not have stim. No stim on those Marines. A lot of them do go down. That's a force to lift. 1 Viking falls. But so far it's been good value here from Honmono. Rotating over, stim just now beginning. Tanks are not quite in position. And we land in the mineral line. Oh my god! And in a matter of seconds, we get almost every single SCV. That is insane. We had 16 workers, we're down to 1. That was 15 SCVs and a Raven. 15 SCVs and a Raven go down. Ay. I'm afraid to look at the unit loss tab, but it's been 27 worker kills in total. At the same time, we're double expanding. We're triple expanding. Mono taking the northern base, the southern bases as well. Getting more SCVs. Getting up to 33. That's 5 extra SCVs going down. And we just keep dropping Vikings. We're just pulling. Oh, we're pulling Moja apart with Mass Viking. It's working. The Mass Viking is cracked, Pappy. Oh my god. They just do so much damage to SCVs. They hold their own against these Stimless Marines as well. Again, Stim is still not done. It started earlier, but we killed the tech lab. Yeah, Homono sniped the tech lab, which did deny the upgrade. Moja trying to move out. Meanwhile, more Vikings. We have advanced servers on the way. Still just mass Viking production 5 at a time. And Moja's had enough. We're going for a base trade. We're moving out for a base trade. Homono going back into the main as well. Oh my god, did I stim for a 3rd time? That's the 3rd time the tech lab's gone down. Oh, they killed buildings surprisingly quickly as well. Oh my god, that's crazy. And the buildings do crumble. Boys are being pulled. Vanilla Marines doing what they can. And we have committed to the all-in, but the tanks are sieged. And the tanks are ready. Big tank volleys going up. Marines, they try to dive on in. They will bring down the first line of tanks. But GG gets called. There's just not enough here to work with, and Honmono will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Oh my god. What the hell did I just watch? GG, well played. Honmono will take the series. Congratulations. A very strong performance out of Honmono. My condolences to Moja. Did look very strong initially against Forjumi, but here in the TVT, did have a hard time keeping up with Honmono in the end. And congratulations, Honmono will advance on to the semifinals, and we will be following Honmono after the lower semis. Gonna be jumping into Nick Rat versus Christiana first, as they have been patiently waiting. They have been patiently waiting for us. So we should be heading on over into that series. We do need a moment though, as we may as well just have a look at the bracket and catch up with all the results. Catching up with the results, here we go. We have we have Geralt. We have Geralt taking down Hydra 2-0, advancing on to the upper semifinals. Does advance on to the upper semifinals and is going to be facing against Honmono in the next round. But again, the lower semis has been ready and waiting for us, so we're going to be putting Geralt versus Honmono on hold, and we're going to be jumping in to Nickeract versus Cristiano. As Cristiano takes down Fiant 2-0, Nickeract did the same to Rostock, and now they're facing off in a TVP. Let's go. We do need a moment to set things up. Do need a moment to get things going. As we have our next series, and honestly I'm looking forward to it. Cristiano and Nickeract, they were poised to make a deep run in this event. Nickeract has been on fire as of late. Nickeract, of course, being our most recent ESL Americas champion and STC champion. Meanwhile, Cristiano likewise has kind of risen through the ranks as one of the best Protoss players in all of Europe, and we'll see how they compare with each other. We shall see. For the time being, we are going to be going on a short break, just allowing our players to get those videos going, to get them ready, and once they have prepared, we'll be jumping into our first semifinals of the night. We're in a way nearing the end of the broadcast. We have 3 matches left, both semis and the grand finals. And who's going to be that champion? Unfortunately, there are no... Oh. Unfortunately, there are... What was I going to say? Unfortunately, there were no Zerg players. Unfortunately, no Zerg players in the top 4. Unfortunately, but we do have our best Terran and Protoss available. Here we go. Also, my apologies. There was I just assumed, I made an assumption that we were jumping into our lower semi first, but no, we're jumping into the upper semis first instead. It's been a long day, Papi. It's been a long day. It's been tiring, Papi. It's been tiring. We're good. We're good to go. Okay, so my apologies. It is going to be the upper semifinals first. So it's going to be Geralt versus Honmono, followed by Cristiano and Nickeract. We're getting there. We're getting there. So my apologies, my apologies. Did just misunderstand. And it looks like the vetoes are done. Vetoes are now done, and we're jumping into game number 1. Here we go. Honmono was cooking, Papi. That was a strange dish. It was strange. It was a strange dish. You're not wrong. Mass Viking. Mass Viking. Crazy. Crazy. It was strange, but it was edible. It tasted good. It shouldn't have, but it did. And here we go, we're jumping into our next series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Geralt. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Honmono. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold and who you think will advance on to the grand finals first. Will it be our Protoss or our Terran player? Best of luck. Best of luck with those predictions. And again, we'll be covering Cristiano and Nickeract after this series. Do apologize for assuming otherwise earlier. I'm catching up on the chat. Catching up. Chef's kiss on that army composition. Oh no. Is it an army composition if it's mainly one unit? Like, is that... Can we call it that? I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. As we do have a Geralt moving out with the Probe Scout. Likewise, Honmono going for an economic opener. It's going to be a Rax expand here from Honmono. Just an economic start. And we'll see what kind of direction we do head in. Now, something that I did mention earlier, at the start of Honmono versus Moja is, as we do force a bit of an off-center CC. It's okay, we can of course lift and land, but that is that Honmono is hyper-aggressive, specifically against Protoss players. Against Terran, he's a little bit more standard, and to be fair, the last game was anything but standard, at least when it came to the army of choice. But, you know, it was macro-oriented, right? Like, Honmono, he was getting like a 6th and 7th base, right? Like, he was working towards a longer and later game. Against Protoss players, Honmono is usually in his face. We see very often 2-base all-ins, we pull the boys, we 2-base all-in, and we pull the boys again. We just double down, we commit, we rarely take a 3rd and 4th base, we rarely macro into a longer game. Is a rarity here for Honmono, so I'm curious what kind of aggression we have in store for us here in Game 1 against Geralt. We'll see if we embrace the all-ins as we have in the past, or if we go for a different approach and go for something more macro-oriented instead. Oh! As Zealot has arrived, going to be delaying the CC, but the SCVs will be barely saved. It's done here by Honmono. Does save the SCVs. Bunker is done just in time. We shut down the first Zealots, and the CC can now be replaced, repositioned, and be on location. Now across the map we have our take of choice, going to be a Twilight Council open out of Geralt, very safe, working towards Blink. And I imagine 3-gate Blink out of Geralt. We'll see if he does cut corners, we'll see if he does go for a faster 3rd base instead. Keep an eye on our Protoss player. And speaking of 3-gate, there it is. 2 extra gates on the way here for Geralt. 1 in the main, so it's going to be 3-gate Blink from our Protoss player. Very safe. It's a way to be aggressive, to be defensive. It's not as aggressive as 4-gate Blink. It's not as greedy as 2-gate. It's right down the middle. I feel like it's ideal against a player like Honmono. As Honmono did go for a 1-1-1. Interesting. Okay. So really safe start out of Geralt, but Honmono going for a more standard opener. Is Honmono going to expand? It's possible. We're kind of leaning in that direction. Meanwhile, as we settle into our semifinals, a big shout out to Gemini. Oh my god, Pappy. GG Emini in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. I assume that you were covering the All Things Protoss Team League. If so, hope you had a great time, and I hope many shenanigans were had and PvPs were held. Yeah, let's go. I'll leave it at that. I have tuned into some of those broadcasts, and some wild things happen in the All Things Protoss Team League. It's crazy. But I hope you had a great time. And again, shout out to Gemini. Do consider following Gemini as well. Does do a lot for the scene, a lot for the community, especially the Protoss side of things. Again, All Things Protoss out there would be worse off without Gemini. So big shout out. As we do have Honmono rotating around, getting eyes on the 3rd base. Likewise, Geralt missing the army, or they do miss each other. Going for the natural. Tank getting in position. Not quite ready. Boys being pulled. Can we get the tank? Oh my god, we can! A clutch Blink from Geralt. Will shut the tank down. At the same time, his own 3rd base is under fire. The 3rd base is going to be cancelled. It's going to be brought low, but at the same time, we have Geralt in the main. Yeah, Marines are going down. SCVs as well. Honmono just barely wasn't ready for this. And we get 12 SCV kills. Meanwhile, across the map, we should force a cancel, but the base is still up and running. Can we save it? Can we save the expansion? We can. And we will. We clean up the Marines. We shut down the Cyclone. A very clutch hold. And Geralt, he saves the base. He saves the expansion, he scouts the Banshee. The Banshees are being hunted down, and again, Geralt has plenty of time to get detection ready. As the Bay is on the way. And I'm assuming we have an observer, yeah. He's going to be recalled back home. Stalkers are here, the observer as well. And we will shut down that Banshee. And with that, Homeowner's in a rough position. Looking at the units lost tab, we lost our Marines, lost 12 SCVs, the initial tank, the initial Banshee. And we did not deny the third base. Geralt is looking to snowball out of control. We are not there yet. We haven't reached our final form. We're still waiting on the Bay to finish up, the gateway explosion. Once all this does kick into gear, I mean, we're going to have Colossus, Charge Lots, +1, Immortal Production as well. Things are looking rough for Hon Mono. We'll see if we can bring it back. I mean, drop play is an answer to this. We can try to bypass the army, get it across the map, get into mineral lines. There is potential for damage. So we do pick off a Stalker. Not bad. Geralt overextending. Second Banshee's moving out. Bio Army staying back at home for the time being, respecting the Stalkers. We see Geralt fanning out, making sure that if there was any kind of drop play, he would be able to spot it and deny it. As Geralt, he does try to form a ring here around Hon Mono. At the same time, Banshee does slip in. Into the main. Threatening the mineral line. But with the help of the shield battery, we're not really getting much done. The natural is more exposed. We got one probe kill, but we're not going to get much more than that. And 2 probes go down. And the Banshees were lackluster. Hon Mono does break out. Breaks out of the contain. Has a hefty Marauder army. We'll see how Hon Mono does end up moving out. I mean, he's got his Ghosts, he's got EMPs available, Vikings are amassing as well. No third CC yet. I imagine if we get a third base, it'll be as we move out across the map. But Hon Mono has been stuck at home for quite some time. And Geralt even taking a 4th base. Oh my god. He's got double the base count. And Hon Mono at this point is committed. We're a little bit too far behind. It does feel a little bit late to pull the boys, but I wouldn't be opposed to it at this point. Do you catch the Observer? We attempt to. Observer goes down. No detection, no vision. And do we send it? Do we send it back? We're thinking about it. Someone is moving out. And he has been spotted. Geralt is at least trying to slow down the push, picking away at the army. That's 3 Colossus lying in wait though. Oh my god, that's so many charge lots. Nice EMPs. The EMPs are brutal. Disruptor has arrived. We have the 1 Nova. And we're getting on top of the tank. The tank is going to go down. Nova goes off as well. Doesn't connect. Very nice target firing. But the Colossus, they wreak havoc. We shut down every single Marine. And we shut down the army. The Vikings go down. Liberators don't even get a chance to siege up. And there's no third. The third base just now starting. That's a rough third base timing here for Hon Mono. As he's down heavily here in economy, in army. You can see Hon Mono, he's now turtling up, but this is more of an afterthought. This was not the initial plan. This was never the plan for Hon Mono to take a third base in this kind of position. And Geralt is looking to break that third. There's not much to stop him. We have 0 ghosts. 3 ghosts are on the way. They're gonna pop out in a couple of seconds. Decent mine shot. Warp Prism into the main. Geralt rotating around, making his way towards that third. War Prism does get in. That's 10 zealots at a time. And we do hit the main base. SCV's going to be going down. At the same time, Geralt, he can break through towards that third, and we are pulling Homono apart. The ghosts are distracted. The first Liberator goes down. The third base is not even going to finish. We're never going to get that third. We do allow... There we go. As he forces a cancel. Zealots are recalled out of the main. And Geralt takes another base. And gets a fifth. Fifth Nexus on the way. Second Robo, double disruptor production. Geralt is about to max out, and when he does, then he can move out. Then he can try to break that third. Homono does find the War Prism. Not bad. Geralt may opt to rebuild it so he can reinforce. But he's about to max out. Does max out. What do we have to work with? We have 3 Disruptors, 2 Colossus, 33 Zealots. That's a lot of Zealots, Pappy. That's a lot of Zealots. That's double the Marine count. What that is. Dude made out the Mine Shot. Nova goes off. It gets a Widow Mine. And we're going for the other as well. Both Widow Mines go down. Some Mine Shot. That one Liberator doing what it can, holding its own. Do Sniper Disruptor. But we pull the trigger. We're at least looking to. I mean, the choke point is brutal. We now up to 3 libs. Okay. 3 Liberators. Homono, he's holding. We get the third. It gets up and running. Okay. Does get the third base. Widowmine resets. And you can see just how difficult it is to break this entrenched position on Golden Aura. It is brutal. And Geralt instead is taking up into Sky Toss. We're getting ready for Carriers and Tempest. Nova's going up. Getting a Marauder, a handful of Marines. Another Marauder, not bad. Yeah, 2 Stargates are on the way, plus 1 air attack. Getting ready for that late game composition. The Nova does overshoot. Ooh, but the second Nova does connect. Massive connection. Ooh, going for the Widow Mine. And Geralt should still be able to break this position. I mean, if we force our way into this, it's not going to be pretty. Geralt will lose a lot of units, but can still break through. Geralt doesn't want to throw away his lead. Warping into the main. Massive warp in. Another 10 Zealots. They deny the 4 CC. They came to the production. And they create an opening. And now we get on top of these Liberators. And GG gets called. It's just too much. And Geralt will take game number 1. GG. Oh my god. I was worried we were going to be there a little bit longer. I was worried that that Geralt would back off and actually remax on Carrier, which would take a lot longer to really get going, but in the end he was able to distract Homono, able to drag the Bio Army into the main, and then break through. GG, well played. Again, Geralt's able to break through in the end, and with that we're getting ready for game number 2. Going to be loading into Oceanborn. Now again, as a reminder, the reason why it was such a brutal showing there is because Homono had a really rough start. If you recall, Homono, he was out of position. He moved out across the map with his main army, which meant that he was exposed back at home. He lost the initial Banshee, he lost the tank, he lost 12 SCVs, and he didn't really get much in return, so he just had a really rough start, and he was behind early on, and was having a really hard time catching back up. He did commit very hard to an eventual move out, but he was shut down by Geralt's army. Geralt was just too far ahead. And we'll see if we can bring it back here in Game 2. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Sidestorm Gaming. One game away from making it to the Grand Finals, it is Geralt. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. Unamas one more game, and Homeowner will advance on into, or will be able to force the ace match. We'll see if he can get there. We'll see if he can force it. As we have to take a bit of a breather, wipe the slate clean, and approach this with a fresh mind. You know what I want. 2 base all in, Babby. I'm ready for it, Babby. I'm ready for it. We'll see. We'll see how Homeowner will approach Geralt here in Game 2. For now, economic opener, we have the 1 gas geyser for Honmono, so going for a Rax expand. Economic start at least. Likewise, Geralt coming in with a probe scout to make sure he doesn't get proxied or cheesed or any kind of early game shenanigans. Making sure that everything's on the up and up. So the probe is soon to arrive. There we go, the CC's on low ground, the probe is not able to delay, at least not too much. Does tase away at the SCV and will force a second worker down to the low ground. Oh, we do get an SCV! Oh, that's a rough start for Honmono. Yeah, that worker should not have gone down, so a nice pickoff here from Geralt. Does get the first SCV. Behind this, running out the first Stalker. Getting into our own 2-base setup. And I'm curious if this time, there we go. I was gonna say, I'm curious if this time Homeowner delays the starport. And we are. That is a second Rax. And I'm waiting for the third Rax. We are waiting for it. Show us what you got. As Zealot has arrived, the bunker finishing up just in time. Zealot going for the SCV. Will delay the expansion. Delays the natural. Probe gets focused down. Ooh, that is not a third Rax. This looks like a 2-1-1. Okay, so we're going into fast stim. This should be a fast stim, and this should be a bit of a double medevac drop play here from Honmono. We'll see if he does something crazy and delays the starport even further and goes for a third Rax. But for now, this is going to be a 2-1-1 variation from our Korean Terran. Do bleed off one of those Marines. Oh! Second Marine goes down. Nice control here from Geralt. There's that stim, as we mentioned. Again, for those that are curious, this build is something you see a lot more often against Zerg players, less so against Protoss. Oh no, as we get in! No shot. The Adept does shade into the main base. We see everything as well. We confirm the 2-1-1. Big scout for Geralt. And just like that, Geralt, he is now aware that he can be a little bit greedier initially, and to be ready for a double medevac Marine drop. He knows to get ready. We have 2 more gates on the way. It's going to be 3-gate blink. Meanwhile, Stalkers are wreaking havoc in the natural base, and we are denying so much mining time. We get an SCV kill. Not many SCVs have gone down, but we have so many workers just not doing anything here at the natural. The base getting low. And Geralt has just gotten so much value already here so far. Oh. Going for another warp in. Keeping the pressure on. And how many Marines have fallen? We've gotten 5 Marine kills already. This is important just because, remember, we want to hit a double medevac stim timing. But we're losing a lot of Marines already. We're going to have that much less to work with that timing, with that push. Oh boy. Geralt is still being active. Still being active on the map. Dark Shrine follow up as well. Oh my god, we're doing everything. Dark Shrine and a Bay. Well, Genel is lost. Why not both, man? Why not both? Here we go. Double drop on the right-hand side is moving out. Likewise, Geralt's getting ready for his own aggression. Bearing in mind that Geralt could always recall if things get a little bit too intense. The main base is very exposed. Now, this is a big reason why 2-on-1s are often not seen in TVP. The reason why, it delays tanks. Big delay on tank production. 0 tanks in the main. The first tank is about to pop out just as the Stalkers bust in. And there's not much of them to defend. Tank does siege up here at the ramp. That's a kill! That's a kill in the 3rd CC. Double drop has to go in, and this drop has to get a lot of damage because we're just wreaking havoc in the main. It's going to be 8 SCVs going down. The Marines are revealed. The Stalkers, they recall back home. And Homeowner has lost so much here. It wasn't just 8 SCVs, it was a kill on that CC. 400 minerals down the drain. And here come the Dark Templar. Do you have a skin? They'll take down the first ET. And there is no second Dark Templar, thankfully. But it is keeping Homeowner busy. Does keep him pinned back. More DTs spawning in, and it looks like the Warpin will finish. We do get the Prism. Oh. And there's that first scan. We get 1 Dark Templar. Another scan in the main. Each scan is brutal. And back at home, we have Colossus amassing. The 3rd base was delayed. It's a very late 3rd for Geralt. But he does snipe the SCV. Up! He gets caught out. Not bad. Homeowner catches 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down. That's something. We're gaining some value. Are going to be gaining value. Scan reveals the 3rd base, reveals that it's still on the way. So again, a big delay in the expansion because of all this tech. Again, Double Forge, Bay, Dark Shrine. That's a lot of tech before expanding. Because of that, even though Homeowner's 3rd base is insanely late, it's actually not that bad compared to the 3rd base of Geralt. It could be worse. Tanks are getting ready. You can see the Mnevics trying to bait the Stalkers in. Oh, there's the bait. We get a Stalker. Forcing another scan. Tablet's cleaned up. And now Homeowner is going to try to stabilize and fortify himself here on 3 bases. Geralt, meanwhile, taking a 4th. Saturating his 3rd. Getting into mass charge lot. Pushing into the siege line is not going to be easy. So Geralt will most likely have to wait until Homeowner takes a 4th. And build up back at home. Homeowner going for a Doom Drop. Oh my god, meanwhile, Geralt double expanding. He's crazy. Getting a 4th and a 5th base. Ay, ay, ay. Lost his mind. Meanwhile, the drop is spotted. We shut it down. And Colossus are here. Force a pickup. At the same time, the tank's getting within range. Tank volley goes off. Geralt cannot take a fight right now. He has Colossus, but he needs a buffer. He needs some kind of support for those Colossi. Does need more Zealots. Speaking of, Zealots going for a run across the map. Going for the 3rd. And we only get the 2 Zealots into the mineral line. No major damage. At the same time, War Prism sneaking into the main. Homeowner does respond. much should he have? Zel's taking on top of the tanks. One tank goes down. Ooh, a little bit of mistargeting as well. Do you pick off that turret or that tower? I should say Homeono does. A bit of panic from the Terran player. I'm still not fully convinced by this dive. Oh, we do cut up those Marines. Nice force fields. Catching them out. Likewise, getting to disruptor production, more gateways, more zealots. Bearing in mind as well that even though we've been mass expanding, we're not taking any gases. It's just purely mineral income to just warp in as many deltas as possible. Just pure charge lot. Getting up to 10 gateways. Sorry, 14 gateways even. Is it 14? 12. A 12 gates set up. Another expansion. Another Nexus. And Homeono is slowly catching up in supply, bearing in mind that Geralt, he will always have a larger bank, true. Does have a lot of resources to work with. And Geralt does want Homeono to move out. Which is why Homeono won't. He's going to slowly take a 4th base. That's going to be the big moment for Geralt. Once Homeono expands, he will be spreading himself a little bit thinner, but that is still a lot of tanks. A lot of tanks, man. If you hadn't noticed, it's mainly tank marine. It's purely tank marine. 0 marauders. No marauders, no ghosts yet. We're now getting to liberators, fusion core, that should be for liberator range. But again, marine tank is the go-to for Homeono. Geralt's maxed out. And Geralt, he does need to trade. These tanks are looking exposed. They're looking vulnerable. Can we dive in? We can. Yes, they'll say, yeah, 1 tank so far. They get 2. 3rd tank goes down. We got a 4th tank as well. Barely not. Okay, 3 tanks. Oh my god, the tank volleys. Jesus. Tank volleys are insane. I don't think Geralt is set up for Sky Toss. Yeah. No Stargates, no Fleet Beacon, no Sky Toss. Geralt has to come in with the ground army, getting even more tanks. Again, all you need is zealots. If there's no support, the tanks, they just crumble, they fall over. Geralt, he does rotate over, coming in with his army. Just the 1 tank is not going to be enough. The tank goes down. We have 10 Dark Templar coming in. They blink on top of the army. Not going to be the cleanest trade when we shut down all the bio. We're getting on top of the tanks, and it looks like Geralt has finally done it. He breaks through the front line, breaks through into the natural, and we have a handful of Vikings. We have some reinforcements on the way, but we eviscerate the economy. 26 SCVs, 28. 32 workers going down. And Homeono just doesn't really have much left over. There is that 1 tank. We do avoid it. We just step over towards the right. DT slipping into the main. Again, it came with the production. GG gets called. There's just not much left here to work with. And Geralt will take the series 2-0. And he'll be our first finalist of the night. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Geralt, as he will take the series, will advance on to the grand finals, and we have yet to determine who will face off against him. Will it be another Terran or another Protoss? Let's find out. Let us find out. My condolences to Homeono, as he did have a rough start. did have a rough start to both game 1 and even in game 2 as well. He kind of stumbled his way towards the mid game. Geralt was able to just gain control of the series really and was just in a homeowner's face time and time again. It was insane just how aggressive he was and how assertive he was. And yeah, with that, GG, well played. GG, well played. Geralt will be advancing on, and now we're getting ready for the lower semifinals. Let's go. It is going to be Cristiano versus Nicaract. We are going to be getting things ready, and we're going to be going on a very short break to get those semifinals ready. So we will need a moment to set things up. But Geralt is going to be lying in wait in those grand finals in that best of 5. And we'll be back soon, in a couple of minutes, with that lower semis. If you're in the chat, of course, take this moment to get some snacks, get some water, stretch your roaches, hydrate your hydras, massage your marines, and get ready for another banger of a TVP. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back again. Hope you enjoyed that very short break as we've returned with the lower semifinals with another TVP, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Polish Protoss player representing Clan SWS. It is Cristiano. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicaract. Here we go. Again, both Nicaract and Cristiano have improved so much over the year. It's been impressive. It's been insane. Cristiano, of course, being able to win back-to-back Sparkling Tuna Cups, likewise performing very well in WTL for Starlight Twinkle. It's been insane to see the growth of Cristiano in the past year. Likewise, Nicaract as well. Nicaract, I mean, he's always been performing well, always been taking down some big names and big players. Unfortunately, but it came down to consistency, and in recent times, that's where he's been more consistent. That's where Nicaract has been able to get some bigger and better wins time and time again. Again, most recently, he's the ESL Open Cup America's champion and the Sparkling Tuna Cup champion as well. And can he make it all the way to the JEC finals as well, or will it be Cristiano? Honestly, it could go either way. And oh, my apologies, the Gamba. Predictions are open. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series, whether it's our Terran player or our Protoss. Best of luck in the chat. Best of luck. As predictions are open, you can see Cristiano being as annoying as possible, delaying the expansion, delaying the natural. CC is on the way. And it is a more economic opener out of Nicaract. Cristiano does delay the expansion, but only for a couple of seconds. Nicaract opening up with a Reaper first build. Cristiano back at home, likewise going for a Gate Cyber expand, or Gate expand into Cyber Core. economic openers all around. It's going to be on Nickerack to pose a threat to the mineral line, maybe pick off a probe, but more importantly, scout the tech of choice. Is it a Robo, a Stargate, or a Twilight Council? It's on Nickerack to figure that out. As he does slip into the main, or he does attempt to. Adept zoning that Reaper away. Reaper is zoned away. Twilight Council behind the mineral line, and the Reaper, can we confirm? Ooh, not quite. Doesn't take the chance, doesn't take the risk. Reaper pulls away, tries to find another way to the main base. But so far, Cristiano is keeping up. We do get a probe, not bad. One probe goes down. And the Reaper goes for one final dive. But now we have two units. We have the Adept, we have the Stalker. And the Reaper will not make it past. Floating into the camera. So the scout is denied. Nicely done here by Cristiano. He does keep Nickerack in the dark. We have extra gateways on the way. Robo as well. Looks like 2-gate Blink. Blink is on the horizon, but yeah, Cristiano is going to be taking a faster third. Meanwhile, Nickerack opening up 1-1-1 into Banshee. Banshees are on the way. Cloak as well. And if Cristiano doesn't get detection anytime soon, he could be in some trouble. As we can see, the wall is open. Hellions are diving in. We do barely wall off in time. Whew. Was close. But the wall is set up. Third base now being thrown down as well. Cristiano hiding the probe. Very nice setup. Very nicely done. Adept shading across the map, getting two SCVs. Up. Can we get a third? Not quite. Yep, unable to get there. Just two SCVs. Meanwhile, across the map, the Hellions, they get eyes on the expansion, but they cannot touch it. They cannot stop it. So far, Cristiano, he's been a brick wall. He's doing his best Showtime impression. Not bad. He denied the Reaper Scout. He denies the Hellions. The Observer's on the way, which means he's ready to deny the Banshee. Is getting ready as the Banshee has arrived. You can see we're waiting for the second Banshee. We're waiting for Cloak. By the time it finishes, Cristiano will have plenty of anti-air, but will he be in position? Sure, we have an Observer, but the Observer is moving out across the map. And will find the Banshees. Okay. Where were we looking? Where are we looking, though, as Nickerack is moving out across the map? And Cristiano, the Observer, spotted the move out, but did he see it himself? Oh, he should notice. He should notice that something's wrong. The army's missing. Now he knows. Now he knows, but is it too late? The boys have arrived. Oh, we pull the boys! And Nickerack is committed. We activate the Cloak. We focus on the Banshees. Shield battery's not ready. And the shield battery is denied. And the tank is getting within range of the base of the third. And third is under fire. Stalkers have to respect the army. They have to back off. And Cristiano, can he save the base? We get the Observer. Observer goes down. Banshees, they're pushing in. Recalling it back up. Observer is being recalled back home. Big tank bullies going off. The Stalkers are getting annihilated. They just cannot push in. They cannot touch the army. We're going for the Immortal. The Immortal goes down. And so will the third. Nickerack, it looks like he is doing it. He's barely breaking through. Takes down the third base. Takes down the Immortal. And now he's going for the kill. The Robo's exposed. The Robo. It is exposed. There's an overcharge. Oh, we're running out of Marines. Uh-oh. Can we hold on? Tank does arrive just in time. Takes down one. Sorry, Immortal arrives just in time. Takes down one tank. Oh, that's the only Immortal we're going to see here in this game. As we shut down the Robo. And it does look like Nickerack may just have too much. The boys are being pulled. There's only 4 Marines. Cristiano, he breaks out. He gets one. Oh, can he get 2? Nah. It's close. It's so close. The tank bullies were insane. The tank, will it survive? It barely will. The tank doesn't. It's an Immortal. Oh my god. We love this game. GG, well played. There's so much love as Nickerack takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Nickerack does take the first game. Again, Cristiano, he barely missed the move out with the Observer. If you remember, that was, I would say, a pivotal moment in that first game, is that it was a bit of a later reaction to the army moving out. Because of that, the shield battery was late, so the shield battery, there was no overcharge at the third base, there was no shield battery either, it was denied. Without that, likewise, we weren't able to slow down the push and slow down the army. It was just a really rough moment there for Cristiano. And now we're getting into game number 2. Can we bounce back? Can we force the ace match? I'm hoping we can, but the pressure is now on our Polish Protoss. Let's go. Jumping into game 2. Jumping into game number 2. We're jumping into Alkione. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have our red Polish Protoss player. He's currently down in the series. Can he bounce back? He needs to, here and now, to force the ace match. Representing Clan SWS, it is Cristiano. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player, representing the Platinum Heroes. One game away from making it to the grand finals, it is Nickerack. We go. Have our game 2 getting ready, and Nickerack. Where are we going? Where are we headed? Nickerack is going the long way around the map, and I imagine this is for an eBay block. I would imagine. Ooh, never mind, as we have rallied to the third base location. Okay. You have my attention. You have my attention as the SCV is sneaking up on that third base and going for the proxy racks. We have 1 racks back at home and 1 racks across the map. Okay, so it looks to be 2 racks Reaper here from Nickerack. Is a nice way to try to snowball early on and try to catch your opponent off guard. It's not as aggressive and not as committed as a proxy 2 racks, for example. It's just 1 proxy to cross the map, which means we can expand back at home, we can set up. Oh. Wait, Marauder? If we're going Marine first, this should be a tech lab, right? Am I crazy? We'll see. We shall see as the Rax is about to finish. And the Proxy Marauder can get a lot more done. Show us the tech lab. Show us what you got. What's it going to be? There it is! Tech lab. Okay, Proxy Marauder from Nickerack. Back at home, reactors on the way for Marine production. And this might just be a 1-base all. We might pull the boys with this. It does feel like we should be pulling the boys with this. Once we mass up enough Marines and enough Marauders. Oh boy. Strap yourselves in. Strap in, Papi. Strap in. As the probe is trying to get a read on what's going on, we do see that Cristiano's opening up Twilight Council. Should be for Blink. The probe doesn't see much. The scary thing here is that we confirmed there's no CC on the low ground, but there could just be one on the high ground instead, right? There could just be another expansion a little bit further back. Not too uncommon. As the Marauders are building up, likewise so are the Marines. And here come the boys! Here comes the 1-base all-in. It's all or nothing for Nickerack. One way or another, the game is about to end. Either Nickerack kills Cristiano or he dies trying. The boys are here. And they're spotted! We know. Now we know what's going on, we have to give up the natural. There's no shot we can save the natural base. There's a shield battery on the way. Second shield battery as well. We have a backup shield battery in the main, thankfully, but defending the natural is going to be a lost cause. We're going to try. We're gonna try. We have more shield batteries at the natural. I'm not convinced. That's Nartosis Pylon. Uh-oh. That is Nartosis Pylon. We're going for the pylon. We're going for the main army. Yeah, what do we go for? The pylon's under fire. Pylon goes down. We depower everything. Ay, ay, ay. Probes are going down. So are a couple of the boys as well. But we can afford those losses. As we're pushing further into the main. Adept does fall. We have 2 Stalkers left. More boys being pulled, but there's still 3 Marauders. And we target down the Stalkers. We get another. There's 2 Stalkers remaining. We're running out of SCVs. But there's too many Marauders. Too many Marauders. Too many armies. There's so much man with gun, and Cristiano has been broken. XD. XD. As Nickeract will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Nickeract will take the series here. And unfortunate setup there from Cristiano. Again, defending the natural was ambitious, was very ambitious, considering that your opponent is completely all in, pulling all of the boys. It's one of those situations where you can give up on the natural, right? You give up on the natural, and if you defend the main base instead, you have a narrow ramp that you can wall off, you can take advantage of, you can create a choke point, you can morph in and warp in some sentries for force fields as well to defend that natural base. Sorry, defending the main base even. Defending the natural was a bait. It was a bit of a bait. It was a little bit greedy, a little bit ambitious, and as we saw, did not work out well there for Cristiano. It was unfortunate that there was an Artosis pylon, and with that, GG. Nickeract will take the series. Will take the series. And that means we have our finalists. We have our top 2. It's going to be Nickeract versus Geralt. Let's go. That was a short semis, by the way. That was a short series. Nickeract just not holding back whatsoever. Just hyper aggression. In both games. And that does, in a way, bode well. In a way. Does bode well for Nickeract, as he has another Protoss opponent, another Polish Protoss player in Geralt. Now, Geralt does approach things in a different way, true. Does often take a different approach. And we'll see how Geralt will approach this. I mean, I imagine Geralt was watching some of these matches, was keeping an eye on Nickeract's performance. And I'm sure Geralt is going to be a lot more adept here at handling the aggression of Nickeract. But the thing about Nickeract is that he doesn't have to be all in. He doesn't have to be in your face like this all the time. Nickeract can play macro as well. He is a little bit more versatile. But here we go. We are getting things ready. Getting ready for those grand finals. Again, it's been... I mean, it feels like the bracket has been blazing past. It feels like we've, even though we had a full round of 16, we've had some short matches. We had some short series. Just going over a little bit of it. Did kick things off early on with Jumi versus Moja, of course, into Honmono. Likewise, we had our semi-finals with Honmono up against Geralt, Cristiano up against Nickeract. Shout out to all the other competitors that we had today as well. Unfortunately, there were some walkovers early on. You know, there was no UE Soldier, there was no Eba either. We missed out on Fiant. Fiant was the Zerg representative of the tournament. I should say Fiant and Demi. Demi was also in the bracket as well, but we missed out on them. That's all good. I'm sure we'll see more of them in the upcoming days and weeks with these open events. For the time being, though, it looks like our players are conducting their vetoes, and they need a little bit more time to get ready. Do need a little bit more time. Just catching up in the chat. Ready for Nickeract, helping me quit smoking. Ah, he's helping us quit smoging back. Smoging. One proxy at a time. Invisible Man. True, true. We did see that earlier. True. "100% is an army composition of one unit type." Technically true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I guess. But for now, it looks like we might just go on a short break. Short break. It shouldn't be a long one, but both Nickeract and Geralt just need a little bit of time to get their vetoes going. So take this moment to, again, refill your water, drink plenty of water, hydrate your hydras, massage your marines. But do it quickly, because we're not going on a break, because the vetoes are done, and we're jumping in. You have a couple of seconds. Not like this. Yes, here we go. Oh. Oh. Wait. I didn't realize this. Okay, sorry. So something that I did just notice myself and that the players reminded me is that this isn't just a bracket with our players and of course a big event, but there's also a bit of a bonus that we do host for our own tournaments as well, but it's also being held here. There is a random participation raffle as well. Let's go. There is going to be a random participation raffle as well. So, yeah, our players were excited. They were excited, man. They were excited. Do love to see it. But now, though, we're going to be settling in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion. We have our blue Protoss player. From the land of Poland, representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is Geralt. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nikaract. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time for the random raffle. Random raffle? Oh, sorry, that was on my mind. Predictions. There we go. a different form of Gamba. Different form. But get your Gamba going. As predictions are now open in the chat. Place your bets on who you think will be this week's champion, or this event's champion, I should say. The first champion for the JEC of 2024. Best of luck in the chat. Best of luck. As we are going to be opening up, we do have Nikaract going for an economic opener, going for a Rax expand. Oh! As we do see, Geralt attempts to delay and does for a second or two, but not for too much longer. CC is thrown down. Likewise, Geralt back at home, going for the Gate Cyber into Nexus. Centered opener out of Geralt, economic opener out of Nikaract. We're calming things down. Go. As we are selling into those finals. Reaper moving out across the map. Again, the goal of the Reaper is to not just get some economic damage, but also to scout our opponent to try to get a read on whether it's a Twilight Council, Robo, or Stargates. We'll see if Nikaract can piece it all together. As for now, he's going to be zoned away by the Adept. Does escape to safety. And oh my god, we're being hyper greedy. Okay, I like this. Like, considering how aggressive and how cheesy Nikaract was in the last series, he's opening up Rax Expand into an insanely fast 3CC. So, very greedy build here. It looks like it's going to be 3CC 3 Rax out of Nikaract, and it's going to be on Geralt to respond, to react, and to punish this. Yeah, there's the third Rax on the way. So 3CC 3 Rax out of Nikaract. And Geralt, the pressure's on. The pressure's on the Protoss. Now, the power of this build for Nikaract is, one, this is going to be a stim timing. True, it's not going to hit as hard as like a proper 3 Rax, because this is a little bit more macro-oriented. But the real power in this build lies in the mid-game. Because this third base is so fast, and because we're being as efficient as possible, like mainly focusing on marine production, It does allow us to snowball out of control in the mid-game. Oh,
paused.
as we do have a bit of a pause. But it does allow us to snowball out of control in the mid-game once we get the third base up and running, and we can take a massive economic lead. So we'll see if Geralt does scout this and does punish this. As for now, to have a bit of a pause. It's all good. And maybe some Uber Eats at the door, getting our food. Understandable. Is understandable. That's all good. Looks like our players.
Game resumed.
Looks like we're back. We're good. I say Uber Eats, potentially Cat as well. There have been actually some times, there have been multiple times in the past couple of weeks where we've had like a cat pause, where like a cat jumps on the keyboard or jumps on the desk or on the lap of the player, and they have to like hold on. Like I have to deal with cat. Okay, we understand. One of the moments, one of the highlights of WTL this year is gonna be when Nickrecht played. I think it was like maybe 3 weeks ago. It was I think it was like round 10, maybe round 9 or round 10 of WTL, where Nickrecht was playing for the Platinum Heroes, of course, and in the middle of the game, his cat jumped up and just placed itself in front of Nickrecht while he was playing. And the crazy thing about that occurring is that Nickrecht did not ask for a pause. He just dealt with it. He's like, okay, I'll just play with this cat in front of my face. Like, so okay, fair enough. So that's at least one of my highlight moments for WTL. It was good. It was good. Do you recommend the VODs if you ever do want to check it out yourself? But yes, Nickrecht's cat did want all the attention. And did not pause. The cat knows who runs the place. As we do see, Nickrecht now taking his third base. We are in position to delay. Ooh. So we do manage to pick up a couple of Marines. 2 Marines, 2 SCVs. Geralt not losing a single Stalker. Nicely done. As Nickrecht is going to be chasing Geralt away. As a reminder, stim has completed. And we do stim a handful of Marines. I love that we're not stimming the entire army. Nickrecht being very careful. Speaking of, we do just dive in. We go for the dive. Colossus is ready. Shield batteries as well. And we do defend. Geralt does hold. Nickrecht being forced back, but what's important is that Nickrecht wasn't really looking for damage, wasn't really looking to, you know, punish a third base or break through, bearing in mind that Nickrecht was just protecting and defending his fast third, which is fully saturated. Third base getting fully saturated. Meanwhile, Geralt going for his own counterattack. How the pendulum does swing, but more Marauders have amassed. And Geralt will respect it, he will back off. Whew, okay, as Geralt backs off, Nickrecht gonna be able to stabilize, getting into his own starport production. Second starport on the way. Interesting. Okay. Getting into double starport production. Likewise, Geralt. Okay, I like this response. So Geralt, he sees the fast third. Like, bearing in mind that we're on an even base count and Nickrecht is ahead in SCVs plus mules. This is a game state that should not really be occurring. Nickrecht has a massive economic lead. It's a big lead here for Nickrecht. How do we catch up? Goal base. The goal base is a way for Geralt to stabilize. And we'll see if he can. We'll see if he can saturate and maintain that gold. Until then, we do see a 4cc already on the way for Nickrecht. Likewise, Geralt setting up scouting pylons to make sure his goal base is secure. Zelt's moving out as well. And we have entered a little bit of a lull period here between both Nickrecht and Geralt. And a lot of this is going to come down to whether Nickrecht is able to punish the goal base now. Get his own fourth base up and running. Both players are still building up. Ghost Academy's on the way. Dark Shrine for Geralt. Disruptor production has begun. And once we get our 4th base up and running, then Geralt can afford a 2nd robo and double disruptive production. We're getting there. We're getting into the mid-game. It's a game state that we didn't really get to see between Christiana and Nickracht. We weren't able to really embrace that kind of game state too much. But we're getting there this time. I'm getting there. So I'll say Dread in the 3rd. They get 2 SCVs. Get 2 SCVs. Nickracht now getting its own expansion. 4th base on the way is scattered by Geralt, is aware. Knowing is one thing, denying it is another. You see the Zealots are getting ready for the dive. So it looks like the goal here for Geralt is to distract the main army. He's trying to keep Nickracht's attention at the 3rd. And here come those Zealots! Never goes off. Delays that center tower. Oh, doesn't quite connect. And Zealots are getting to the middle line. SCVs are going down. That's a lot of SCVs. 12. Not bad. 12 SCVs go down for 12 Zealots. A 1-to-1 trade. It's not ideal for Geralt. I'm sure he was hoping for something a little bit more efficient. But, I mean, considering he has the gold, we can afford to throw away some Zealots. It's only minerals. And it does allow Geralt to take a massive worker lead. But here comes the main army. Nickracht is maxed out. And again, he maxes out a little faster than normal because of the fast 3rd. Oh, this army looks terrifying. That's a lot of Marauders. That's how many? That's 27 Marauders. At the same time, Zelarame does hit the natural. Nickracht getting distracted. Geralt's pulling apart his attention. Zealots towards the natural. Geralt cannot break the main army, but he is delaying the economy. Even getting into the main. Not bad. Zealots bust into the main way, so thinking on forward as well. Where are the Novas? The Novas are going off. Good splits here from Nickracht. Avoids 2 Novas. Does force back the main army. Not a bad hold. Nickracht, he shuts down the Zealots, he shuts down most of the gateway reinforcements. Still down in workers, and Geralt did plummet in supply. He does at least maintain most of his disruptors in Colossus, at least. Oh, the Zelarame moving out. But in a head-to-head fight, I do favor Nickracht against this main army. There's just not a lot of support. So I'll say run into the reinforcements, they run into the bio. Zealots being cleaned up. The Nexus on the way. Nickracht moves out. Novas go off. Major connections. There we go, just buying time. Nickracht wants to dive in. Novas will delay. We have 2 more Novas left. Sorry, 3 more Novas left. 6 disruptors in total. Novas are resetting. Zelarame, sorry, DT counterattack does hit the 4th base. Zealots into the 3rd, into the natural. And DT's in every single mineral line. Workers are going down. The Invisible Man is popping off. At the same time, Nickracht did deny the 4th base, or the 6th base even. Is that a kill? Ooh, that was. Planetary went down. That was a kill on the Planetary. Nickracht stuck on 3 bases. Remember, Geralt is on 5. Coming in first round. Novas go up. Some okay connections. We got a Marauder. The Dark Templar, they just keep coming in. They keep going. We keep going as we try to chase out the army. The Novas will connect. Again, pushing into disruptors is so difficult, and as we push out the Zelarame, they just keep coming in. As Geralt double expands, Getting up to 7 bases. Getting a sick, that's 7 Nexus. Looks like we have overextended. Big catch here from Nickract. Takes down the Disruptors, most of them, but does take some nerves to the face. GG gets called, we run out of steam, 49 SCVs go down as the Zelts and DTs wreak havoc, and Geralt will take game number 1. GG. A very intense game, and Nickract did end up building up towards a terrifying army, but he was never able to make use of it. Every time Nickract tried to move out, just non-stop Zealot counterattacks, DT counterattacks as well. There was just non-stop harassment coming out from Geralt, and it did overwhelm. It did just do critical damage in the end, getting over 40 SCV kills, killing the 4th base as well, and Nickract, he could just never move out. He tried though. That did end up killing him in the end. And with that, Geralt takes a lead. But as a reminder, that was merely game 1. That was only game number 1. We have plenty more ahead of us. Plenty more in this best of 5, as now we're jumping into game number 2 on Crimson Court. Whew, let's go. Cats know they run the world. Humans only there until they invent a can opener operational by pause. Ah, true. We have to make sure that technology never exists. Ah. Get rid of the poor can openers. Ah, no. As we're getting into our next game and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our Polish Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Geralt. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. Down in the series, but only down by 1 game. Looking to bounce back. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Nickract. Now really, Setsuna, you have to go one step further. You have to go one step further in the conspiracy, okay? It isn't just that, you know, we're denying these can-operated opener pause. You know what I mean. Really, it's the fact that really cans were invented to keep cats out of their own food. That's the purpose of the can pack. It all makes sense. That is the reason. Think about it. As we are moving out across the map, we're going to be scouting, checking each other, of course, with the SCV and said probe. And we're loading into Crimson Court. Interesting map, is a little bit more macro-oriented. Reason why I say this, of course, is because portions of the map are just cut off with minerals, with rocks. It does take that much more effort to break out and to gain access to those locations. And if we do end up... that is a kill on the probe. That should not have happened. Big loss there for Geralt. Probe does go down. But because that these areas are a little bit more difficult to gain access to, if you mine through these minerals, you can securely take a 3rd, take a 4th base, take a 5th base as well. And it is harder to punish, and that can lead to longer game states. Lead into longer games. Let's see if we can get there. Well, speaking of, it looks like we're entering a similar game state. That is a 2nd Rax. Okay. Followed by a 3rd Rax. So, Nickract, after game 1, if you recall in game 1, he went 3 CC3 Rax. This time, a straight-up 3 Rax out of Nickract. We're going to be working towards a very strong stim timing. And now the pressure is on Geralt to scout this, to confirm, and to react. Oh boy. As 3 Raxes can hit like a truck. There are also 3 Rax variations where you pull the boys and you just go all in. True. That can be another possibility. As we can see, Geralt opening up Twilight Council, going for a Blink-based opener, not a Stargate. Geralt is poking in. Does poke in, just getting a read of what's going on, trading with the main army, but has yet to gain access to the main. And shouldn't be able to, not with this kind of army setup. Just poking in, getting a bit of damage. Behind this, a blink is on the way. 2 extra gateways, going to be 3-gate blink from Geralt. And we saw a similar setup here earlier today between Geralt and Honmono, where Honmono had likewise gone for 3 racks and was shut down by the 3-gate blink stalkers. We'll see if Geralt can do the same once again. We shall see. Behind this, Geralt working towards the bay already. Interesting. So really safe play out of Geralt. He's going for the bay before the 3rd base. This does mean earlier Colossus production. And Colossus are exactly what you want against this kind of build. Is what you want. Just because it's so bio heavy. I mean, Marauders are amassing because we have noticed it was a Twilight Council opener. I've taken note. Marauders are building up. The Observer does get eyes on all 3 Raxes. Now we are 100% certain what's going on. Geralt is aware. The bay is about to finish. Here comes that move out. Nicorette is committed, and what do we have to work with? We have 13 Marines, 8 Marauders, and Stim. Not just Stim, we have Combat Shield and +1 as well, a very strong 3 racks timing. Is moving out across the map. Geralt was unable to slow this down. He picks off a Reaper, but there comes a Stim. Stalkers do blink away. Colossus is almost done. We're going to have to buy time with those force fields. And we do force field the choke point, almost at the ramp. Force field is solid. Shield Body is ready. Overcharge as well. And the Colossus does arrive just in time. And just like that, Geralt holds. Geralt does hold. And will deflect the main army. Nicorette scans, gets eyes on the 3rd base. As we mentioned before, Nicorette cannot touch this 3rd base, not without Medivacs. The 3rd base is safe and sound. The Terran player has to retreat. So far, a solid start here for Geralt. He's getting a 3rd, he's defended, getting to Colossus, moving out for a counterattack. And Nicorette is vulnerable. There are no Medivacs, yes, there's no way to really sustain this army. It's still low. Getting a Marauder. We can now sustain the army. We can now get away with stimming a little bit more freely with those Medivacs. And likewise, we can also drop and threaten the 3rd base. This is fully operational. And Nicorette is still building up. 3rd CC's on the way. The Observer gets caught out. And here comes the drop gets spotted! We caught one Observer, but not the other. So big scout from Geralt. He's fully aware of what's going on, and here comes the intercept. Stalkers are getting ready. Do we overshoot though? It's going to be close. We're looking for the Medivacs, and Geralt, he will find them. But unable to snipe them. And just a little bit misplaced. Instead forced to recall at the same time. Another push on the right hand side. As the army does come together, do we have a force field? We don't. But we do have 2 Colossus. That's good enough. And the main army does collapse in. Nice concave for the Zealots. Likewise for these Stalkers as well. You have to respect the Marauders. Geralt pulls away. Nicorette races back. Forces Stim back home. Forces Stim back. And as the dust does settle, both players are on 3 bases. I would say the 4th for Geralt is late. A very late 4th base, actually. So Nickracht is going to be able to take an economic lead. Yeah, 4 should have been thrown down by now. It's now on the way for Geralt. Is quite late. Geralt now working towards the 2nd robo, getting ready for disruptors. +2. Oh my god, he went up to 4 Colossus. Okay. And now we see where the 4th base went. Initially into the Colossus. Does explain things. Why is Nickracht still building up, getting to Viking production? Ghost Academy just now did begin. Ooh, and Nickracht is going to move out initially here. Does have a massive supply lead. And he does catch the first Colossus. Yeah, the Vikings going ham. One more volley. 1 Colossus goes down. Overcharge not quite ready. And we don't have any force fields. Yeah, we just go for the dive. We go for the stim. And Nickracht, he's breaking through. He shuts down the Colossus, the Stalkers as well. And we're looking to make a series out of this. Geralt may have taken the first game, but here in game number 2, we're snowballing out of control. We take down every single Colossus. The Disruptors are too little too late. And the Nova is denied. And Nickracht, he's snowballing out of control. He's broken it through the 4th base. We get the mineral line, we get the Nexus itself. And there's just nothing left for Geralt. There's just nothing left back at home. We can keep going. Nickracht can keep pushing. We have more Disruptors coming out. But the Gateway Army is just not good enough. Not against this many Marauders. And we're stimming in. We just stim in once again. We have 2 Disruptors still in production. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Nickracht will tap the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Nickracht with that 3-racks build wasn't able to really get too much damage done, but what he was able to do was contain. He was able to successfully contain Geralt. We did see that Nickracht was able to get into a much faster 3rd base, able to take advantage of it, and able to even exceed the economy, exceed the resources gained compared to his opponent, compared to Geralt. And with that, just mass up a massive army. And GG. GG, well played. We have a back and forth. We have a series. We're now getting into game number 3. Oh boy. Gonna be loading into Oceanborn. Loading into Oceanborn. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our blue Polish Protoss player representing Slastorm Gaming. Stumbling a little bit in that last game, being forced into a tied up series, but can he bring it back? It is Geralt. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. Tying things up and fighting back in that last game with a bit of momentum on his side, it is Nickracht. And what are we doing with that momentum? We're proxy. Of course we are. Let's go. The SCV is out on the map, and the Rax is going to be set up right outside the natural base of Geralt. Back at home, interesting location because of the depot placement. It looks like, yeah, we're going for the Rax across the map. There's no initial Rax back at home. Gases are being taken. And we'll see if Geralt can find this. But now it is checking his natural, making sure he's safe and secure before he expands. Actually going to be scouting across the map initially instead. Did at least confirm there was no Rax in his natural itself. We can see it's right outside. Probe coming in will confirm that the Rax is missing. And I'm curious if we're just going for the initial Reaper, or if we're going for something a little bit different. As the SCV does confirm, the Rax is nowhere to be found. Okay, it's just going to be the Reaper. Reaper's on the way. Back at home with double gas, we should be working towards a faster factory. There it is. Again, the building placement is interesting to me just because we're just leaving the ramp wide open. So So Geralt does confirm a bunker behind the mineral line. The goal here is to deny mining time, but Geralt did not skip out on the Zell. We forced a cancel. And the bunker, it's not going to come into play. Geralt, he has defended. The Reaper can still threaten the mineral line, but there won't be any kind of sustained damage at the natural. Oh, swiper. Not bad. First swipe goes off. Scout doesn't see much, no tech yet. Reaper production is continuing here for Nicaract. Oh, and we're going for a proxy starport, okay. This is very committed, actually. Bearing in mind, this is proxy starport off of one base. There is still no expansion for Nicaract. No expansion inside, we shut down the Reapers. Geralt moving out across the map. There's not much at home to defend, is what I will say. We're going into reactor to Hellion production. This should be for a Hellion drop across the map. But the armies are going to Cyclone instead. Okay. Are we going proxy lib? That would make a little bit more sense. If we make Cyclones at home and go for the Liberator across the map. For now, though, Tech Lab? Proxy Banshee? What's happening? What's going on? The Zealot has right. We zone away the Reapers. We have control of the main base. So many workers going down. Nicaract is in trouble. He's in so much trouble. But the Cyclones will soon arrive and they will shut down these Stalkers. Yeah, they get the lock-ons. They force a recall. But alas, Geralt, he still gets 7 SCVs. 7 SCVs go down. There it is. Proxy Banshee? Okay. Okay. But let him cook, Pappy. Let him cook. I'm ready. I'm ready. Back at home, Geralt is going for a robo, so we're going to have access to detection. We'll have access to an observer. Observer is on the horizon. But the observer should be sent across the map. So we'll hopefully have a recall to bring it back home. Meanwhile, Nicaract can finally expand and can finally take a natural base, but this is a very late expansion for Nicaract. He was so aggressive and so assertive and so committed, and it hasn't really paid off. Not yet. As the initial observers on the way, shield battery in the main base is done. This will buy some time. Buy some time here. Cyclone's going to be keeping tabs here on Geralt. Banshee's still building up. And there we go. We have 2 Banshees. We're getting a 3rd Banshee? Jesus. We can one-shot probes. And Nicaract, he's so committed. We have to get damage done with this. Dipping into the main. Oof. There we go. Probes are going down. Shield battery does nothing. We got 6 probe kills so far. Say 6, 9 probe kills. And detection's back at home, but the damage has been done. And remember, we have more Banshees on the way. The initial 2 did survive. As the Stalkers are here, and they will end up punching the starport. They do force it to float. Will be brought down. Meanwhile, Nicaract building up, getting into mass tank production, did save all the Cyclones from the early game. And this is just such a weird composition. It's going to be tank, Cyclone, Banshee. We pull the boys as well. And Nicaract, he's going for the kill. He wants to end it here and now. The Stalkers are distracted. The Banshee, everything's distracted. The Observer does spot part of the army. Now he confirms. He sees everything. Where's the shield battery? It's not ready. It's not ready at the 3rd base. We have 1 at the natural. Immortals are amassing. And we're going for the 3rd. We may just ignore it. We ignore the 3rd base. We're going for the kill. We're going for the Immortal. Oh my god. Immortal goes down. Massive pickoff. And we keep committing. We keep pushing in. Overcharge gets popped. Stalkers coming from behind. They catch a tank. One tank goes down. We do deny charge. Charge is denied. Backup tanks on the way. Stalkers, they go for the dive. And they focus on another tank and another. It does cost Geralt a lot of Stalkers, but it looks like it is worth it. Reinforcements trying to catch out those Stalkers. Up. Trying. Quite able to, but the Stalkers are getting so low. Oh my god, 2 more Stalkers go down. But Nickracht is cleaned up and Geralt defends. And the scary thing is, the third base. The third base did not go down. Remember, Nickracht made a choice. He made a choice to just avoid and skip the third base, and he was trying to go for the kill. He was trying to straight up kill Geralt at the natural. He didn't. Now Nickracht is falling behind. Now Nickracht is down a base. Down another tank. Geralt dives into the main. Yeah, we blink into the main base and there's just no stopping Geralt. Nickracht, he was so committed with that push earlier and did not break through. GG. Geralt takes a lead in the series. Does take the 2-1 lead. Again, Nickracht was basically 2 base all in, and it was a scary push. It was a terrifying move out there from Nickracht, but did not break the natural. And with that, Geralt is now 1 game away. 1 game away from taking the series. I see in the chat, which cat is the best at SC2? It has to be Miyamika. Has to be. Is the big cat on the block. Like, who's in contention? Miyamika? What? Night Phoenix? I'm sure there are Astra. Astra's also a cat. True, true. Actually, I haven't seen much from Astra recently. Is Astra still competing? Curious. I feel like it's been a while. I feel like it has been a while. Okay, okay. Apparently played in an event last month. Not too long ago. Not too long. Oh, he played in the Tech TV tournaments. Yeah. Okay, okay. For those that are curious, Take TV, they started hosting an event recently, and Asher did play in that. Okay, okay. I appreciate it. Love to see it. But here we go. We're jumping into our next series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our blue Polish Protoss player leading the series here, 1 game away from becoming our champion. Representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is Geralt. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nickracht. He's up against the wall. He has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Can we bring it home? Can we bring it back? The pressure is on Nickracht. Oh boy. We go. We are settling in. We do have Geralt moving out with the probe scouts, and this time Nickracht is not going for a proxy. Again, it was a wild game previously, going for a proxy starport into Banshee with the initial proxy Rax, and it was just chaos. It was chaos. Alas, it did not quite do enough. It led into a pretty terrifying 2-base all-in, but alas, Geralt did survive it, just barely. Was able to shut it down and catch out those tanks unsieged. And Nickracht was pulled apart. But now we're in game 4. We're on Amphion, another unique map. a map that also is similar to Crimson Court in a sense, where you have a portion of the map that is cut off from the world with minerals and with rocks. But it is easier to gain access to as it's right next to your natural, so you can start working on those mineral patches a lot earlier. I should say it's similar to Crimson Court in that sense, in a way. As Reaper does dip in, the pylon block was barely not in time. We got one probe kill so far, not bad. And one probe, dancing with the rest of the units, with the rest of the workers, denying a lot of mining time, forcing a big reaction. So far so good here for Nicaract. So keeping that adept busy. Tech has yet to be revealed, as the Reaper is zoned away. And for the first time this series, it's not a Twilight Council, it's a Stargate. Interesting. Okay, it is going to be that Stargate opener from Geralt. I imagine working towards Glaive Adepts. Okay, so working towards Phoenixes. The brain is struggling a little bit. It's aye. It's been a long stay, man. A long stay. We'll get there. Oh my god, as that is not just the one Stargate, that is a second Stargate as well. And we have seen this build from Geralt before, specifically on this map, on Amphion. A big reason for it, the natural base is very defendable, similar to Side Delta. The ramp leading into the natural, it's difficult to really break on two bases. Likewise, the third is very secure. So if there were ever a map to get away with this on, it would be Amphion. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Nicaract opening up 1-1-1, going for initially a Cyclone into drop play. This drop can get damage done, but more importantly, needs a scout. Needs a scout to confirm what exactly is going on. As the drop does move out. Does move out across the map, is spotted. Goes to the pylon. But the rest of the ground army should be able to keep up. Will force Nicaract back. And it looks like we will barely get the pylon. Never mind. Pylon is getting low. And it looks like we will barely bring it down. There we go. Meanwhile, additional Phoenixes have been revealed, and it looks like we will get eyes on the second Stargate. And we do confirm one Phoenix goes down. Another bit of a misrally as well, taking a lot of damage. We will clean this up, but it was a messy defense here for Geralt. Only losing the one Phoenix. Behind this, thankfully, because Nicaract did scouts, we have more Vikings. More Vikings are on the way. As much anti-air as we can muster. And the boys are being pulled. We're committed. We are committed. We pull the boys at the natural. We barely leave anything back at home. And the reason why we pull the boys is because we recognize, hold up, if you have this many Phoenixes, you must have barely anything on the ground. That's the scary thing about these Phoenix-based builds, is that you are quite vulnerable. You have very little on the ground to support your main army. Phoenixes, they can pick up high-tech units, but what about something like this? SCVs, Vikings, Mass Marine. It's going to be a tough hold for Geralt. Not impossible, but tough. Phoenixes, they do lift the first tank. They try to, but the Phoenix is targeted down. Big tank volleys going off. We have the overcharge. But Nicaract does maintain this position. Well, another Phoenix goes down. Not an easy hold. Tank shots once again going off. Oh, good. Tank volleys are brutal. We're waiting for the Immortal. The Immortal is going to be a secure way to break through. You know, when we catch reinforcements, we do catch a tank. Very nice pickup. At the same time, Nicaract, he goes for the dive. Gets a gateway. The Immortal has arrived. We lift the tanks. Okay, the Vikings land. The tanks are lifted. And it looks like Nicaract is being cleaned up. Landing the Vikings was a bold move, but it meant that the Phoenixes, they could just wreak havoc. The Phoenixes, they go to town. And Nickrat, he's running out of steam. He's running out of units, running out of army. Ooh. A bit of miscontrol out of Geralt, though. Oh, he bleeds out 2 more Phoenixes. Can Nickrat pull this off? There's only 1 Stalker. Yeah, 1 Stalker left. We have the overcharge. We barely keep the Stalker alive. Oh my god. Expensive losses for Geralt. And Nickrat, even though he pulled the boys earlier, he has rebuilt. And this third base is so late for Geralt. So Nickrat may not have killed Geralt, but he has done enough damage to justify this. Justify the move out. As long as they don't overextend and lose another tank. As I'm a little concerned. Another tank has arrived. The Nexus. He's going up. Do catch reinforcements. Third base under fire. And we're going for the tank. Do we have any lifts? Ooh. The Immortal's being targeted down, but we do get within range of the shield battery. And again, we need support. Phoenix is now coming in. They get a tank. It's not pretty, but we're barely holding on. We're barely surviving. Viking dropping into the main. Marines are being chased down. And Nickrat gets 4 probe kills. Back at home, Nickrat, he does have a worker lead. He does have an economic advantage. Geralt just lost so much in that defense. And Nickrat, he's looking good. He's up in workers, he's up in army supply, has a more efficient army as well. This Mass Phoenix needs to get damage done. Does need to get damage here. We'll try to rotate. But we have turrets, we have marines. Nickrat's looking pretty secure. And Nickrat, he needs so much time to recover to get into Colossus production. And we just pull the board. Yeah, we pull the board for a second time. Once again, the logic is sound here for Nickrat. And Geralt is mainly relying on mass Phoenix. Like, there's nothing on the ground. There's 1 Immortal, there's 3 Stalkers, and soon 1 Colossus. The Colossus is going to be huge. The Colossus is going to be a big part here of the defense. But is 1 Colossus enough to deal with all of this? Force fields. We need force fields. We're now up to 2 Colossus. Are we? No, sorry. Just the 1. Never mind. For some reason, I thought I saw 2 Colossus in production. But we just have the 1. Oh, there were 2 Colossus in production. Yeah, we denied the Robo. Second Robo was at the natural. Aye. So exposed. And the third base is going to go down. Now we can push towards the natural. Geralt being supply blocked as well is brutal. And can we bust in? Nice force field. Second Colossus does make it. Yo, with 2 Colossus, we can pull this off. We can take the fight. We can, and we will. We get the final tank. The Colossus, they do so much damage. They pull away in time. 1 Colossus goes down. And can we get the second? We cannot. We barely can't. GG gets called, and Nickrat, he was so committed. He brought down the third, but he doesn't break through the natural. GG, and Geralt, he will survive and take the series 3-1, becoming the JEC Open champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Oh. GG, well played. Congratulations to Geralt as he does claim the series, as he is going to be our champion here tonight. My condolences to Nickrat. Honestly, I didn't mind his play at all. Like, to go for these all-ins, to pull the boys here, especially when Geralt had so little to defend, I feel like was the right call to make. Unfortunately, part of me feels like maybe we spent a little bit too much time at the third. right? Maybe we spent a little bit too much time there. We gave Geralt the opportunity to get a second Colossus. And if we were able to break through the natural when there was still only one Colossus, maybe there would have been enough there to break the natural and to get on top of the production. It's possible. I mean, regardless, GG, well played. Geralt, he does pull off the defense. He does survive and is our champion. Congratulations to Geralt. A big shout out to Nickracht as well, because Nickracht making to the finals was not easy. It was not an easy feat here for Nickracht to make it past Christiana, to make it into the top 2. So very impressive stuff. Nickracht still walks away with a good amount of prize money. And not just Nickracht, it's top 4. Top 4 get paid out here in the JEC Open. Not just top 4, also a random player got a prize as well. And we have confirmation. Shout out to Eddie, by the way, the lovely owner of OSC Esports and the admin of today's tournament. Eddie did let us know earlier that Moja walks away with 5 USD. So congratulations to the top 4. Congratulations to Geralt, Honmono, Nickracht, and Christiana. And also a shout out to Moja as well, as we were able to feature him earlier today. Moja popped off against Forjumi, struggled against Honmono, but walks away with 5 USD. GG. GG, well played. Well played, and with that, we are wrapping up for today. We're wrapping up that. The Colossus is going to be huge. Well, never seen them small. Oh, true, Einstein, true. You're an animal. GG, well played. I apologize for jumbling up my words a little bit here in this broadcast. Again, this is our 3rd broadcast of the day. We casted KSL into MSO, into JEC, and I was a little bit loopy throughout the broadcast. So I do apologize, but we made it. We made it to the end, and now the sweet embrace of sleep can take us. It's gonna be beautiful. We can actually get some veg. If you want some more StarCraft content, if you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft 2 action, then we got you covered tomorrow with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and we typically feature very similar players. Geralt, Nickracht, alongside Christiana, Honmono, and many of these other online tournament regulars will also be featured most likely tomorrow in Sparkling Tuna Cup, so be sure to tune in. That's going to be in less than 24 hours. So we're going to be live on the channel with some tuna action. Do love to see it. Likewise, we also have some more content planned up ahead of us. We have the ESL Open Cups, ESL Open Cup Asia, ESL Open Cup Americas, and your typical events throughout the week. We have Code for Giants Cup, we have WTL. Next weekend is the return and the finale of World Team League. World Team League, the playoffs are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you're there for the finale of WTL. Likewise, the House Galactic Battle is also on Saturday night. So I say Saturday night, the entire day of Saturday is dedicated to the House Galactic Battle. So that is an offline event in Poland. If you want to see our JEC champion, Geralt, Christiana, Laser, Spirit, and many other players in Poland will be facing off in the House Galactic Battle. We're going to have player cams. We're going to have a live broadcast from the Polish casters, of course. Going to have a feed available to, have a look at the crowd, have a look at the venue. It's going to be an amazing event. Be sure you're there as we can crown our next Prince of Poland. Let's go. Let us go. As the current Prince of Poland, Christiana, is going to be there to hold on to that crown and to maintain his position in the hierarchy of Polish players. So yeah, that's going to be next week. A lot to come, and we have more things planned for the future as well. Other events yet to be announced, so get excited for what's to come as well, coming into September. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We do appreciate you. We appreciate you, Pappy. Hope you've been enjoying the content. ! Socials in the chat if you guys want to link to all of our social medias. One moment. I got the payouts for you. There we go. But there we go. Socials in the chat. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. We stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So, alas, if you prefer one platform over the other, then we got you covered with YouTube. Likewise, we also have VODs available immediately on YouTube as well under the live tab. So, plenty of content. If you cannot watch live, we got you covered with the VOD content. We got you covered back. Here we go. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We are going to be wrapping up for the time being. And again, we're going to be live once again tomorrow with the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send our love over to. We'll find someone. We'll find someone. So give them a chance. Give them some support. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Also, if you want to help support us, you can support us via Patreon. Patreon is there if you wish to support us via that. Likewise, check out OSC Esports on all the social medias. And we'll see you mañana. Hasta luego.